Operatives, we are live for the second time tonight in a Sunday night live where yours truly is going to be on the play-by-play call of a match from a Tyrant King, a nemesis, you might say. But not only that, we might even do live reactions to another match of a man you might say is a boogeyman of the Midwest. We're going to talk about all of that here and some. You might be sick and tired of seeing me at this point on Sportswire Radio Operatives, but we are back as always because we are going to continue to do something a little different and continue to see my chops and how they hold up when it comes to the play-by-play. So, you ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go right to it. And, of course, a man that needs no further introduction, but he's going to get that introduction, Operatives, because, well, he is the first member of our fifth class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, our 41st member, and a man that is more popular than Taylor with even 103,000 followers. That's right, TikTok, YouTube. You see him all over the place when it comes to the Nemesis sessions, when it comes to those WWE 2K streams, the PWF, when it comes to those Resident Evil games, maybe those even famous cooking sessions. And of course, not too bad in the ring with some big time companies, and maybe even we'll see what the future holds in store for him in 2024. But ladies and gentlemen, I digress. It's time to kick it off here as usual on Sportswire Radio with that introduction that he absolutely deserves because he is a Hall of Famer and he was our 2023 Personality of the Year on Sportswire Radio. Plus, I actually remembered I have an announcement. I actually remembered the announcement that I have on Sportswire Radio, which I'm going to share on a little while here for us. So forget about all that. It's time to get right to it. So with that, for further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one, Sports Show. The first member of the fifth class of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, our 2023 Personality of the Year. Operatives, join me in giving a rousing ovation for the Tyrant King, the Nemesis, James Taylor.
He cracked himself up, ladies and germs.
Pretty much. It was kind of funny. I will admit that it was funny. But how are you? Long time no speak, though. Seriously.
I'm great, Tom. How about you? It seems like last night you had a fiasco and you had a crazy thing going on.
I loved it, though. I think people like the craziness. They like the, different things. We saw some people that we didn't think would be on Sportswire Radio. We saw some other people that might call themselves loose cannons, but might need to permanently have a mute button on when they come on a live radio show. We had other people who call themselves a big bad silver wolf that is supposedly the triple W champ. If he is ready for prime time, but James Taylor, you are definitely ready for prime time. You are definitely our Taylor Swift. You are far more popular on the yard and the underground than Taylor, and certainly we turned her down because we wanted you in our Hall of Fame. But obviously, I have some questions first before we go into a couple of different things that we started doing last week. I want to say hello to our buddy, Mr. Ron Franklin. How you doing, Ron? But I have a question from somebody that most recently came on Sportswire Radio. His name is the West Memphis kid, Ronnie Brady, and I'm going to actually put up his comment on the screen. What's going on, Mr. Taylor? I have a question and offer. What are you doing on St. Patrick's Day?
Well, let me get to you. I am the hardcore king. And hold on, let me get my turtleneck going. And I believe that everybody should respect me. I demand respect because I am the hardcore king with my fake-ass turtleneck thing going. This shit ain't working for me. Let me tell you something. St. Patty's Day is just a couple of weeks away.
3 weeks away. Yep.
Don't worry, I'm gonna be wearing green because if anybody decides to pinch the nemesis James Taylor, I'll drop them like a bad habit. I'll be drinking all night long. You can all make the Stone Cold jokes that you want. I've seen what's been going on here for the past couple of days, and it's made me sick. This is full character mode now because you done pissed me off. Come in here and ask a stupid question like that. The last time I was there, I beat the head of somebody by the name of CC, Cameron Cage. I get more satisfaction out of going to CC's Pizza than I was having a match with him. But you know what, Ronnie? It is what it is, kid. You make the offer, you throw it my way, and we'll see what happens. If all the stars align in the universe and everything makes sense, hell, maybe you get me, maybe you won't. We'll have to see what happens later on down the road. Tom, I didn't mean to get all...
No, we love it on Sportzwire. No, it's a question. It's a valid question. Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid. Obviously, we love the West Memphis Kid. We love Resurrection Wrestling on Sportswire. And, he certainly wanted to put an offer out there. Obviously, Resurrection has a big show upcoming, and you are still a free agent. Obviously, we know that there's a lot of options out there, whether it's going pro, whether it's going, maybe back to TBW. Certainly, you referenced Mr. Titan. Obviously, Alabama was referenced when it comes to ADT on Friday show as he took his place in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. There's obviously, Resurrection, maybe the SWF, New South. I mean, there's a lot of options for you. And I've even heard through the grapevine about Ohio and DKW. Nicholas Crenton's out there. I mean, Soldier and Omen are always lurking. So a lot of options. And why not throw Resurrection there on the table also? Yeah,
the possibilities are endless. And to hear somebody come on here a couple of nights ago and say they were untouchable made me laugh. I don't know if you saw it, Tom, but a couple of people did see it. And I did.
I did see it.
I went on Instagram Live after that broadcast, and I decided to say a couple of choice words because I was just living in the moment. I was very passionate about how I feel. And ain't no man going to talk trash about Taft Taylor without saying it to his face. Clearly, you got cowards that come on here that like to flap their gums. It ain't your fault that they're trash, but they want to come on here and talk all the trash they want, but they ain't got a set big enough. I'm gonna watch my language a little bit to not say it to my face. They can call me the knockoff Stone Cold all they want. The fact is, I use my dad voice, and I got a set big enough to back my words up, other like some other people who like to put themselves over. Not mentioning no names or anything, but that stuff just irks me and just, you know what I mean, Tom. The point being, I don't like a fake sumbitch. I want somebody to get in my face and tell me what they're going to do instead of talking behind a camera 300, 400, 500 miles away. Because if they can't look at me face to face, or at least face to face like you and me are doing right now, then what kind of man are they? I ain't afraid of nobody in this business. I don't care if they're across the pond over there in the UK. I like all of them. I respect them. I don't care who they are, though. I ain't afraid of no man. I don't care if you're the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. I don't give a damn if it's Maxwell Jacob Freeman in AEW. I give a damn or a shit less if you're Hollywood himself, Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It does not matter what the name is. You can bet your last little bottom dollar that I would step them right to their face and challenge them. Do something. That's all I got to say.
You know what? No. This is good. The Nemesis James Taylor. Operatives out there that are going to join us shortly in a few minutes. I mean, this is important what you're saying because this is addressing, your future in 2024, where you will wind up going. I mean, we don't know where we're going to see you. I mean, you are the biggest free agent in this sport right now. Everybody's talking about Drew McIntyre. Is he signed? Is he not signed? Becky Lynch, her contract's running out. Everybody talks about MJF. Is he still in AEW? But yet you're the free agent that everybody talks about, and you have so many options, and maybe that option that you're kind of referring to a few miles away, maybe you scratch that off the list, but there is plenty of other options out there.
And let me go on to that comment, add a little bit more to it, Tom. You got all these guys that come on here, no disrespect, but at the same time, I'm going to step on them a little bit.
Absolutely.
They're little sourpusses. They come on here, they barely say a couple of words. They act like they're tough, but they're not. They don't got no choice. They just come on here and like, oh my God, I'm in front of an audience and I'm talking on a podcast. I'm Mr. Big Time. Come on now. You're supposed to sell yourself. You said it yourself, Tom, and a lot of people know it. I'm one hell of a promoter myself, and one thing I'm damn sure good at.
103,000 followers.
Yeah.
103,000. Let me repeat. 103,000.
We're actually up to 104.5 now.
Oh, man, 1 point. That means 1,500 since last week. I mean, I don't know how you do it. Like I said, we turned down Taylor Swift for you.
But I guess I don't know how I do it either, and I'm the one that's actually doing it. But apparently, I'm the ripoff, and I'm the one who doesn't have any following. But you get little pissant guys from nowhere, Alabama, coming in here trying to poke fun because I've been doing this for 25 years. Well, this old man can walk circles around you all night long, I promise you. But you know what? It is what it is, Tom. In the backyard world, a lot of people like to make those jokes about me, about saying, you know what? Well, if he shows up, then maybe you could do something. You know what? I got a life. I got things I got to do just like anybody else. When I show up, I show up. But you can bet your ass when I do show up, I'm going to bring the followers. I'm going to bring the subscribers. I'm going to bring the viewers. And everybody's going to be talking about Taft Taylor being on their show, Premiere. They ain't going to be talking about ADT. They ain't going to be talking about Atomic Titan. They're not going to be talking about IMF Foundation. I'm sorry. Did I drop that name? They're not going to be talking about that. Why do you think Soldier GP wants to face somebody like me? Because he knows I'll bring the viewership. 400-seat sellout in some venue that he's going to have. Bullshit. I'll bring 1,500 motherfuckers up in there. They'll be outside lining up. Taft Taylor's here to kick Soldier's ass. You can damn well bet it'll happen.
People would love to see that. I mean, you think about the possibilities. You in a big venue, and you've sold out venues before. When you were in Resurrection, you sold out Resurrection. We know that when you were in TBW, thousands and thousands of extra views. We know the wars that you've had with the likes of Delta, the likes of Steel, the likes of Titan previously, the likes of JWoww. You've done it before, so I mean, why not? I mean, everybody, I think you should just keep people guessing. At this point, James Taylor, 2024, we still got 10 months. I mean, you have no reason to tell anybody where you're going. You got plenty of time. I mean, so at this point, maybe people could just stew and simmer, as they would always say. Is it Resurrection? Nicholas Crenson is here. Is it WCE and Craven Rage is out there? I'm Craven Rage. Yeah, I'm Craven Rage. We got Ron Franklin from Pennsylvania. D'Angelo LaFlame's in the house. Obviously he's been successful in Resurrection. Trinity Parker just inducted into the Hall of Fame. Our first woman inducted from XCW. I mean, there is endless options. At this point, I'm almost surprised that AEW hasn't reached out because of the AEW sinking ship. We know that AEW is having a hard time selling out venues. As a matter of fact, give credit to actually Omen and Soldier because King of the Center, those guys sold out 400 seats. AEW's second to most recent Dynamite only had 3,200 tickets. So if you do the math, Omen and Soldier are closing in on AEW. And if the nemesis James Taylor comes to the IMF, if I do my math, my Sportswire math, with your following, 104,500 followers, with what the views you've brought in TBW and Resurrection, I mean, if we do the math, you should be able to pull in at least, 3,500. So that means that IMF will have to go to, let's say, the Cedar Rapids and go to the big venue there. And, we'll actually have IMF maybe to be the number 2 wrestling promotion in the world, because with James Taylor here and his massive following, you'll be able to use the Sportswire math and we'll be able to actually sell out venues unlike AEW.
You're damn right. You're damn right. And then I hear what somebody said earlier, no disrespect to her, but XCW, one of their most viewed show, Matt, or whatever, was 400 views or some shit I heard. Go look at TBW's second most viewed video on their entire freaking page, over 8,000, and all of them was because
it was an encounter. To be fair, it was an encounter. It's a mini show, so their premium shows will do in the thousands. For this season, the mini show was about 400 views. Omen and Soldier were on. But I agree with you that TBW's got a massive following.
It was TBW Rampage.
Yep,
that's one of their just regular shows, not even a pay-per-view. And I was over there, and I got as many views in there as I did. But it's beside the point. It's the fact that I see all these companies. Some people mention me. Some people just don't like me because of my character.
Maybe, I would love to see I would love to add a company, VTW versus the World Wrestling. They've become, a big time company in the scene and underground and semi-pro and, whatever else you want to call it. They've got an all-star list of people, the likes of Chase Wakefield in our Hall of Fame, Brandon Castelli in our Hall of Fame. Mr. Judgment is certainly a guy that's, ballyhooed. Aaron Jones, Nikki the Gooch, Scorpion the Assassin, Navon McDonald. I mean, it's a great list of talents. But, James Taylor, with your massive following, Alabama going into North Carolina. I mean, we know how Alabama's done in football against North Carolina. So, I mean, that could be another company people will love to see. And before we get to commentary, I mean, just saying.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. 100%.
And they got 4,000 subs, 4,300 plus. James Taylor with his 41,000 nearly. I mean, if I do the math, with 41,000 to 4,300 doing the math, you should be able to get them to like 26,000. And then if we talk about their views on their shows, if they're doing like 1,400 with your massive following, it should go from 1,400 to about 4,300.
You never know. Anything can happen. You're damn right. Anything can happen. And not to mention that, we didn't even actually talk about the PWF channel that I've had for over 3 years. It's got over 1,000 subscribers.
I was about to go to that next. I mean, we got big shows there in the thousands of views. And we have many people that have been on Sportswire, big names where the big boys play. And, I've got a lot of people right now, all of a sudden they're talking and they want to hear from you. Let's go to Nicholas Crenson. Honestly, facing you is more just wanting to face some of the best, and you are one of the best, Mr. Taylor.
Appreciate that, Nicholas. And maybe one day it'll happen.
It's the bad attitude, right? The bad attitude, Alexander Kelly. Is it the bad attitude?
I don't know if it's the bad attitude or the Joker personality. It's one of the two. But as far as PWF is concerned, I mean, right now he's just the bad attitude. So.
Okay, fair enough. Steven Silvestri, our general manager of Resurrection Wrestling. Always good to see him, and also obviously you seeing him and Resurrection around the corner. Maybe it's a good effort here. Maybe Ronnie is putting in a nice effort to get everybody involved and see the conversation going. And want to say hello to my buddy Mr. Michael Christian. Michael Christian is here, of course. He is one of our favorites in XCW. Also defeated his stepfather, I should say, Festus Davis in his final match. And bad attitude, Joker and Efed, good enough to know those things. So, I mean, you got the people warmed up there. Now people are tuning in. They're warming up because they know that the Nemesis, the following that he brings in, they know that the amount of seats you bring. Listen, when we on Sportswire, right, who's the one always is talked about? The most requested person to come on Sportswire, James Taylor. James Taylor, maybe I should let you take over Sportswire because we'll go to 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. We could go to millions of views. I should let you take over the reins because you obviously, know how to do things. You know the algorithms. You know the followings. You know how to certainly spark attention. You know how to bring a crowd. You've sold out arenas. You've sold out venues. You've won championships. You are a Hall of Famer. You are one of the greatest. You are wearing a nice hat. You know how to promote your food. You do know also how to certainly go out there and cause controversy. I don't know what else I could say about you other than we turned down Taylor Swift for you.
I posted a video on TikTok earlier today, 6 hours ago, right?
800,000 views.
I posted a video of Stone Cold working out, but I did the voice over it and talking about why is this guy working out the way he is? Why is Austin looking like he's all jacked, ready to go into WrestleMania 40 and open up the biggest fat can of whoop asses ever? And my voice and everything, almost 100,000 views already within 6 hours on TikTok. Go check it out if you don't believe me. It's on there.
I would. I actually do need to get TikTok, by the way. Actually, that's the one thing on social media I'm lacking. Although,
but apparently I'm just a joke and I've got no following according to other people. But I don't know what I'm doing. But whatever. We'll go over that. So.
Well, you know what? It's like, listen, people say things about TBW, but the facts are TBW's got the views. TBW's the place that's been mentioned on Barstool. Just like James Taylor is the living legend that everybody wants to talk about. You were hardcore before hardcore. Back in those early days in TWF, back in 98, 99, 2000, those glory days. I mean, you were out there when a lot of these guys were in diapers.
Yeah.
They were born.
Definitely. I was out there before any of them were born. Some of them were born. I mean, honestly, that's just how it is. I've been doing it that long. And people want to joke about it. You're just an old man. You're washed up. I got more
it's funny. 30-something is old. I mean, Flair.
39. I will be 40 April 25th. There's a fun fact for you.
And you know what? April 25th, I promise you, on that day, Try to keep that day open in the evening because we're going to actually do an announcement here. Breaking news for those that are listening and watching on Sports by Radio. April 25th is your birthday, the Nemesis James Taylor. So operatives out there, we're going to celebrate that day. We're going to make sure that James Taylor gets the recognition and the birthday celebration that people remember. Years ago on Raw, Hogan had a birthday party. Flair had one. All the greats had a birthday. But, we're going to make that day special. And the Nemesis James Taylor, April 25th, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, we are going to celebrate your birthday and certainly make sure that it's one for the ages. Just like how we celebrated Trinity Parker's birthday today by inducting her into our Hall of Fame, making her our first woman inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I mean, Trinity Parker, trailblazer, somebody that, obviously we have so appreciated what she's done in this sport. We appreciate what you do in this sport. We're going to certainly up the ante April 25th. You heard it here first.
Appreciate that. I look forward to it. Thank you.
And you're absolutely welcome. People, by the way, love the Dragon Ball hat. So obviously, Michael likes it as well. So does also Trinity. Trinity, of course, our new member of the Hall of Fame, and she loves the hat, and we certainly love it too. And also, Alexander Kelly wants to give you a big birthday. Steven Silvestri says controversy. I'm not sure what that means. Trinity also wants to basically appreciate the birthday, and we appreciated you letting us, do that for us. And
happy birthday.
Michael also wants to say that his stepfather is 2 months from the big 50. Age doesn't matter. I mean, I'd love to retire the old and make room for the new, but do it with dignity and respect. But you got 50 more years ahead. You're going to be in this sport. Listen, you're going to be here till you're 80, 90. You're going to have 10 million, 20 million followers on TikTok and YouTube. You're only just getting started. One of the all-time greats in this sport. That's why we're still talking about you since 98, 2001, 2004, those original promos where you were talking about different things and different goals, and then the amazing run that you've had in TBW, the big wins you've had in Resurrection, then obviously the PWF, the Promo Wrestling Federation, and obviously the Nemesis sessions, and obviously the Resident Evil game streams, and then obviously the cooking with James Taylor, cooking that New York steak, and everything that you've done in this sport. Definitely James Taylor. I mean, that's why you're a 2023 Personality of the Year. And you know what? I might even want to maybe move the ante up a little bit further in a little while on Sportswire Radio by potentially maybe giving you something else. Actually going the extra mile here and maybe declaring you of something that we might have to give you something for on Sportswire. Yes, something else, operatives. James Taylor, you know what? That's why we go the extra mile on Sportswire. I promise you it'll be worth it here. But, obviously, Mr. Taylor, I think it might be an interesting time to maybe, call a match of yours. And, if you only insisted, and Michael wanted to say that he wanted to pay respects to you and he's daddy duty. And he just wants to thank you for your support. Michael, by the way, one of our biggest supporters. And actually, Michael is going to be getting something in the mail from yours truly, which I can't wait for him to wear. And he'll let me know when he gets it. But Michael is a great supporter.
Thank you, Michael. You're great. And Tom, you will be receiving yours this week. So hopefully next time you have me on, maybe you could open the package and you'll see.
Well, I would think that'll be next Sunday, I would think.
There you go. Maybe we can make it a tradition every Sunday.
I was actually kind of thinking that because I was actually I have actually been thinking that it should be just Sunday nights. Sunday nights with the Nemesis. What they used to say, cooking with Julia Child.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Cooking with Julia Child, cooking with the Nemesis session. So Sunday Night Live, and Mr. Silvestri wants to agree with Michael. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, so obviously also I'm just relaxing post-interview. Support the show. Thank you very much, Trinity. I appreciate that to that. And, I guess before I do something, I think I'm going to do it here on the screen. Before I want to call one of your matches, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire, I was actually presented something I have supported here over the past few weeks on Sportswire Radio. In fact, I'm going to pull it up here shortly. So I'm going to actually take this off the screen, and I'm going to actually remove something else and add. I'm going to actually play a little switcheroo here. So we're going to do that here shortly. So give me about 60 seconds. I'm actually going to break it here live on Sportswire Radio. I actually promised the person that gave me this that I was actually going to present it. So I'm going to do that right now. So let me share my screen. And before I do that, Alexander Kelly, yes, I am busy tomorrow because I'm actually going to probably be on after Raw. And I am actually busy before that because I am starting a job the next day during the afternoon. So you might not be able to catch me, but I'll still be on the live evening. So that won't change the evenings. But let me pull this up on the screen first, but we'll work something out, Alexander. Maybe later in the week I should have free time. But now I want to actually, operatives, bring this up because I'm actually happy to announce, after something yours truly has supported, that I am officially now, that's right, a member of the Amplified Wrestling 2024 Hall of Fame. I'm about to say the Sportswire Hall of Fame. All I can do is think about Sportswire, but we're going to pull this up here. But actually, there you go. There's my shot. There's my photo. And I am a member of the 2024 Amplified Enterprise Wrestling's Hall of Fame. So I am actually, although I actually did not want to be in a Hall of Fame, I am in a Hall of Fame, but you can actually see that here. So I want to thank, obviously, the owners of those companies for allowing me to support that and their great cause, Fight for a Cure for a young girl fighting Ewing sarcoma. They actually recognized me for being in the Hall of Fame. So we'll take that off the screen for now, and we'll move that off. And also D'Angelo LaFlame, who I know I'm going to be back on Sportswire with. We're just waiting for Lockdown to be released. So that'll be probably in the next week, I would imagine. And we'll see D'Angelo before the next Resurrection show. And yes, we'll figure something out. Let me know your schedule. Give me your schedule tomorrow, and I'll tell you some dates that might work for me. So we'll see about that. But you have the Nemesis, James Taylor. Obviously, we spoke about some other things, and I'm going to actually potentially bestow something else on you later on. But for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, and Steven Silvestri wants to tell me this week. Okay, thank you. We'll definitely check that out, and we'll bring some of the guys on in the following week. But, since we're here live, and we were obviously enjoying some of the things we did on commentary last week, James Taylor, would it be okay if I maybe tried to sharpen some of my commentary skills once again and maybe called one of your matches once again?
I'd be honored, definitely. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to actually now come back and present the screen.
Hey, don't forget your major announcement, whatever it is you said you remember. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, that was one of the announcements. I have another one still. So good news. Yes, good news there. And while I actually get up to the screen for this, I want you to follow James Taylor on all of his platforms. You gotta make sure you follow him because we want to now get him to 104,600 followers, 104,500, whatever it is. Get him to 1 million, 2 million, because then he could just permanently be on YouTube and TikTok all day because he's getting those checks. I know he's getting them because I actually got a Facebook check in the mail. You're actually gonna laugh. I actually got I should probably say you're gonna chuckle how much I got from Facebook. No, $5.27.
Hey, it's a start. That's just the start of what could be.
And I would say you're going to chuckle. People have asked me now, have you made money off this in 5 years? I said, yes. Now I've officially made a grand total of like $30.68. So I'm getting there. I'm working my way up. So.
It's just going to get better from there.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, it's a joke. I don't need the money. It's more like, hey, I'm doing it for fun. But we do appreciate that. But obviously, I'll send you the money next time. But we'll just buy a shirt of it like we always do. But let's pull it up here. I'm actually going to do it here shortly. So let me share my screen first. I'm going to pull up a match of yours. And I think some people will probably be like, oh, that match. And other people will say, well, you know what? I would love to see what I think about this match. So I'm going to actually pull it up here shortly. So let's come up.
Who all has seen it, but
what was that before I pulled the screen up?
I said I don't know who all has seen this match, whatever match it's going to be. But if they haven't seen it, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's one of my good ones.
Oh, I think it'll be one of the ones that a lot of people will remember. I think some people are going to be like, oh, that match, and other people are going to be like, certainly having something to say. Let me pull it up here. I think I got the wrong link. Okay, so hold on one second.
That's fine. Everybody, yes, go follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to build the Instagram up. Be all wrestling related. Go check me out. Taft Space Taylor, Taft_Taylor. The only one that has the actual space is here on YouTube. It's not like that. It's Taft Space Taylor, just like my name. And all wrestling related. Check out all my stuff on TikTok as well. And I like to respond to comments. So please feel free to give me comments in any of my videos, critique me, say anything you want about the video. And then that way I can get back to you on that. And I love to respond and I love to support anybody that supports me. So there you go.
All right. Well, the Nemesis James Taylor, it looks like I've actually got it about to be pulled up. And This is going to be one that I am excited to see for people. I know some people are going to have their opinions, but I am going to actually announce it here. So the match that we're going to watch is a match we sort of talked about a little bit yesterday, and it's your war from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling season finale 5 against a guy that, some people have heard of. Some people may say different things about. I don't know if it's good or bad. And a guy that used to be called Diablo, but is now the real deal, Anthony Steele. So we're going to watch this match here. And, anything you might want to say before I put it on the screen and do the play-by-play and anything else?
Viewer discretion is advised. This is a very violent match, and if you're squeamish in any form or fashion when it comes to a little bit of some red color, please mute your screens, turn away from it for the next probably 20 minutes, and
about 21, 22 minutes. Yeah.
So.
Would you like me to? Well, I think what I'll do is I'll fast forward from the video package, and we'll get to the entrance in the interest of time. So we'll actually do that. And before I do that, I want to say hello and get a few more comments in. 5 and some changes, enough for a checker burger. Yeah, 5.27. So yeah, I mean that's a fair statement. That'll get me a burger these days. But I appreciate it. Every few months I get checks from Facebook now because I have over 2,000 followers. So I appreciate it. This will be my first time viewing it. It's a great match, regardless of what you may think of Anthony Steele. He is a phenomenal worker, and obviously my buddy Justin Parsley, also third member of the Sportzwire Radio Hall of Fame, he's looking forward to me being on the call. So you know what? You're going to get a chance to see a treat. If you want to make fun, like, or comment, let me know after the match. So we're going to play the match. So I think now we're going to get to it. So for those that are listening and watching on Sportzwire Radio,
remember that?
Yeah, I'm going to do that here right now. Boom, boom, boom. Theater. You want theater mode or full screen?
Full screen, bro.
Okay, we'll do that here, and I'm going to press this button. Let me see where we're at. So hang on tight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's going to see where we are back in the match. Okay. Okay, let's go. Wait a second. All right, now we'll get ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready. It's a war between Anthony, the real deal Steele, then Diablo, and of course, the Nemesis James Taylor. It has been a match that has been months in the making in TBW, and we are getting ready to call it here live on Sportswire Radio. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. There is no other way to kick off season finale 5 than with the Nemesis James Taylor, who looks rather disgusted. I mean, this is a James Taylor from what we saw last week against the Prophet Jay Wilder, a rather different look from the Nemesis. Different. I don't know if it's disgusted. I don't know if it's frustrated. I mean, certainly we see him looking out there. And ladies and gentlemen, he is about to come out. A man that certainly can say whatever you want, but his talent in the ring is pound for pound one of the best. He has done it in many places like TBW, XCW. You have seen him throughout, and he has done a lot. And he is certainly the real deal himself, Anthony Steele. And he points up to the sky and he pulls the trigger toward the Nemesis James Taylor. And you look at what these two men have done to each other in TBW. This one is going to be personal. Viewer discretion is going to be advised. And I can assure you that these two gentlemen will probably never be the same after this match. And we see here Anthony Steele, who again, Steele seems to be looking rather less confident. And boy, it's starting right now. Ladies and gentlemen, ring that bell. And these two men hate each other so much that they're not even waiting for pleasantries here. Here we go. There's the Nemesis James Taylor. Just jump on Anthony Steele right now. Obviously, Steele's got the size advantage, and Taylor's kind of jumping on him right now to kind of basically limit that size advantage. And boy, what a kick there. What a big boot from Anthony Steele. Cannot deny the size advantage that he has. Cannot deny what he does in the ring. And he's just stomping right now a mud hole into the Nemesis James Taylor. No other way there. And woo! There's those chops. And of course, happy birthday to the Nature Boy Ric Flair and the real deal Anthony Steele, honoring Ric Flair and his birthday with those chops. And you can see him now. Anthony Steele just taking over here, getting off to a strong start. And it'll be interesting to see how the veteran Taylor can kind of cope with the size and the strong start with Anthony Steele. And of course, it's their first time in the ring. And here we go here. And it's the Nemesis fireman's carry. He's got him in a fireman's carry. He looks like he's trying to reverse him into something, and he can't quite do it. And choke slam. He's about to choke slam him. And it looks like in The Nemesis reverses it there and kind of some type of backflip, and he's going for a neck breaker or a stunner and not able to do it, and kind of nice using the ropes there to kind of be able to move more or less James Taylor to get Anthony Steele out of the way. And Taylor now is going to use the outside to maybe his advantage. Let's see what the veteran can do here. Maybe to jump on Steele and kind of maybe handicap that size advantage that Steele was supposed to have for a huge advantage here to kick off this match. But now Taylor, using his experience and kind of making it into more of a brawl. You think about what Steele does in the ring. You think about what Steele has been able to do just in the different companies he's been in. In order for a veteran like Taylor to win this match, these are the things that he's going to have to do. And it looks like he's using some type of, I don't know if it's a cookie tray or some type of outside object that is maybe giving him now kind of control of the match and sort of momentum here. And now we see Taylor kind of reverse, and there it goes. Taylor goes right into the ring post, and the veteran now is dazed and confused. You have to wonder now if Steele can kind of, what is Steele doing here? Taking off a shirt. You look at, ladies and gentlemen, the weather that we're in right now out there in season finale 5, and it's very cold out there. Interesting move for the young talent there to kind of maybe, I don't know if he's trying to use the conditions or handicap himself, but he takes off his sweater there, and maybe it's adrenaline, maybe it's nerves. I'm not sure, but certainly. And boy, he just launches himself right into the Nemesis James Taylor until there's abandoned tires. And you have to wonder the veteran here, Taylor. Obviously, Taylor is nearly, twice the age of Steele. And you have to wonder the toll that takes on the body of the Nemesis James Taylor. And now you see here a warning, kind of like that Green Day shirt that Anthony Steele has on here, a warning to James Taylor that maybe you might want to stay down here because it's going to be a long afternoon for the Nemesis James Taylor. And it looks like we're going to do a suplex here, and he's got him, and he lifts him up there. And look at the pain right now that the veteran is, and you can see the pain that the veteran Taylor is, and you have to wonder right now, ladies and gentlemen, that the pain and how this is going to kind of maybe handicap or limit him in a match like this. And now we see here both men are down, and Steele maybe is down from the body reaction that he took also from that suplex. And now we see Steele struggling to get back up, but he's got the size advantage. He's got also the agility and everything else that would certainly help a young veteran here. And you see it now, and Taylor is just, he's trouble, in a lot of trouble right now, Taylor. And interesting move for Steele to bring him right back in the ropes. And he's got some different type of object here. And looks like a bunch of them. And, after all this talk about being hardcore, and it looks like Anthony Steele and James, wait a minute, is that a cookie tray? In a cookie tray, James Taylor uses to launch on the back. It looks like the middle back area, maybe lower to middle back of Anthony the Real Deal Steele here. And he ain't no real deal right now because he's in a real deal amount of punishment here, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously, let's see how we continue to go forward. Boy, here's the young talent here getting up here. It's obviously, in some ways, it's student versus teacher. In some ways, it's kind of young versus, I don't know if you want to call it, but now you see here Steele using the ankles and using it as a way to kind of limit Taylor. You have to think, ladies and gentlemen, for a veteran like Taylor, if his knees get taken out and his back gets taken out, you have to wonder how a veteran can be able to have any shot at winning this match, because Steele's got all the confidence in the world. You can see it by his looks. You can see it by his size and everything else that he brings to the table. And he's just having his way. He's toying with the Nemesis James Taylor. So operatives certainly be advised. And it looks like a leg drop there. What a painful leg drop there. Certainly Hulk Hogan can't do one, but Anthony Steele can do one. And it certainly looks like James Taylor right now is in his own Hulk Hogan amount of pain right now. Circa 2012, last time we saw the Hulkster in the ring. And Taylor is certainly showing the age, some would say. And he's got some type of submission. Hold it. Boy, Taylor's not giving up. Taylor cannot give up here early in a match like this. You have to see from a veteran all the things that these two have put themselves through the past several weeks on TBW TV. James Taylor is not going to go out like that. That's for sure. Now we see here Steele kind of a little bit down. He struggles to get back up to his feet. And now we see Taylor kind of just brush him back into the ropes. And it looks like he waits for something and kind of gets him and tosses him over his back. And now Steele is the one for the first time that's certainly finding a Steele amount of pain here. Certainly he is finding what it's like when body hits Steele, and Steele is in a lot of pain right now. Certainly that's a warning that he could certainly be in for a long night if the Nemesis gets his way. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear from us on commentary, let us know. Tell me what I can do wrong. Tell me what I can do better, or what I'm doing good, or anything else. And hit that sub button for us on Sportswire Radio 65.7. And maybe I'll call more of your matches. And now we see here Steele get back up to his feet, and he's using that same tray, and the Steele, and certainly looks like he's using sort of his advantages that he had in this match coming up here for sure. And now you can just see Anthony Steele just in full control here, and just kind of nonchalantly throws down that object toward the veteran nemesis James Taylor. And is a ladder being used here? Ladies and gentlemen, do I think what the real deal Anthony Steele is about to do toward the nemesis James Taylor? I mean, operatives here. I mean, this could be the end of days, you might say, for the nemesis James Taylor. And Anthony Steele, some would say, is like the Shawn Michaels of the yard, and maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. But when it comes to this move, it looks like sayonara. Good night, James Taylor. And he kind of connects, and connects in a way that James Taylor may not be getting up until who knows when next. And as you can see, look at the pain that the veteran is. You have to wonder, a veteran like Taylor, whose body has been put through a lot since 98, how can he be able to recover from something like this? And we see Steele just getting up here, and it's all Steele right now. And wait a minute! Did James Taylor he's fighting for his life here. Now we see both guys just hitting each other. And, people might talk about Hollywood Atomic Titan. People might talk about the Grim Reaper Joe Anderson. But this looks like straight out of a video game right now, with these two guys right now hitting each other with these sharp shots and these sharp objects. You have to wonder right now if these two guys and what kind of head trauma they're going to be facing with. And now you see the veteran fighting for his life. The nemesis James Taylor knows now that he's got to find a way to end this match quickly. And now he's using the ladder to his advantage. And you have to wonder what he is going to do to the real deal Anthony Steele. Anthony Steele is struggling to get up right now, and it looks like Steele is bleeding. I mean, you know what? People talk about guys like Hardcore bleeding, Mikey Anarchy bleeding. I mean, there's Obey out there, Jimmy Controversy, but Anthony Steele is bleeding like Diablo in a video game or a computer game, and this is no game, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't simulation. This is real. This is Tennessee backyard wrestling, and this is a war from two men who absolutely despise each other. And you can see it. And right now, is James Taylor trying to break the ankle of the real deal Anthony Steele? It seems like it, and you can see it right now. Steele is just thriving in pain. I mean, look at, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the forehead of the real deal Anthony Steele. It looks like he's been dropped almost like a bomb almost. I mean, we've seen, I don't know, forget about warnings, forget about dookies. I mean, he right now looks like the American Idiot with the blood that is all over his forehead right now. Certainly, he might be wishing he was listening to the American Idiot rather than dealing with the pain that the nemesis James Taylor is giving him. And now you can see it here. I mean, is he trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is Anthony Steele being tied to with the ladder? I mean, I don't know if I've seen this. Is he going? I think it's a figure four. It's a figure four on the ladder. I don't know if we've seen this before. Can Steele hang on here? I mean, Steele is fighting. He's trying to fight the pain here. Can he pull it up? Can he hang on here? And it looks like the nemesis James Taylor has got that ladder stuck, and it looks like here that he's going to just move the ladder off and maybe use it as an object, it seems. I mean, he's going to do something here. And, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, is this legal? I mean, would this be homicide? I mean, would this pause for charges with what James Taylor is doing as he is kicking a can of whoop ass? And there's a low blow. I mean, that saves the real deal Anthony Steele. Look at the blood there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that shot there to the head. I mean, Steele is, I mean, I don't know. He's in a lot of trouble here. You have to wonder what the Tennessee State Athletic Commission has to say about this, because you have to wonder, will the Athletic Commission have to step in here? Because Anthony Steele right now is a man that might need medical attention, and he's certainly giving it all he can here in this match. And we see James Taylor now struggling, and maybe it was not the move that he hoped for here. And Steele is just hitting him. You know, look at those shots, ladies and gentlemen. Those shots look like a man that's in a street fight. This is not a wrestling match. This is not no holds barred. This is a pure street fight. Anywhere goes. This is hardcore wrestling. You know, if you're Omen Black watching this, if you're Atomic Titan watching this, if you're Nicholas Crenton watching this, if you're hardcore Mikey Anarchy, Jimmy Controversy. This is where it's at between Anthony Steele and James Taylor. We want to see more of this, and it looks like, could we be setting up for a Claymore? Is it time? Is it Claymore time? It could be. Oh my God! Claymore on the chair! Taylor's down! There is no way that Taylor can get up from this. Steele, despite everything he's been put through, the blood, the guts, everything else, he is standing, and now he stands tall, even with a little bit of color. And ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Steele is clearly a man that has lost his mind. He hates James Taylor so much. This is unbelievable what's going on here. And now the veteran nemesis is bleeding, and he looks like he has no idea where he's from. And now we see, look at those sharp punches there. Those punches hurt from a big man like Anthony Steele, who's 6 foot plus. And just look at what he's doing. He is just throwing around James Taylor like a sack of potatoes there. The veteran is down, and look at Steele. I mean, Steele is a man. We've seen him in places like the IMF. We've seen him in XCW. We've seen him in TBW. And he's just a man that's just, he doesn't care right now. All the adrenaline in the world is helping him right now because he wants to put away the veteran nemesis James Taylor, and it looks like we're waiting for it. And there it is, a sharp, big boot that Kevin Nash would put up. And Steele, what are you waiting for? Put this match to bed, put the veteran away, and certainly give the veteran some memories of maybe the old folks' home and the AARP Senior Assistance Center that he might be collecting for. Is it Suplex City time? It could very well be, and he's lifting him up and kind of gives him a reverse, almost maybe a face buster, and looks like we got to count 1, 2. Ooh, that was close. Ladies and gentlemen, interesting here that we haven't had many counts in this match, and look at the blood that's on the mat here. I mean, no, that's not Heinz ketchup packets. That's real blood from the real deal. Anthony Steele, after all, they did call him Diablo, and that's blood, and he's bringing in the chair. How about that chair? It's coming, and Steele is just a man that's, you have to wonder, though, is this too cocky? Is this nonchalant? Would a veteran, if it was me, maybe I don't take these chances, but he's bringing in another chair. It's an interesting move from the young talent, but turn around. It looks like Taylor's about to get him, and he kicks it. Maybe a low blow, maybe not, but there it is, and a chair shot, it looks like to the side of the back, and those chair shots hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, those would be chair shots that the late, great Terry Funk would be proud of. And now we see here the nemesis James Taylor is about to do something that, stand by for pain, ladies and gentlemen. Steal amount of pain. And is he setting up for it? Spine buster on the chair. Ooh, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you thought that Mikey Anarchy had to connect the dots like the back of pain that he's been through? That one's going to hurt. That's going to leave a mark, ladies and gentlemen. And now we can see your Steele. Maybe this wasn't what he hoped for here. And it looks like he's setting him up. Sidewalk slam, maybe? Is it a sidewalk slam he's setting him up for? It is a sidewalk slam. We haven't seen one of those in maybe since Kevin Nash's best days. And Kevin Nash wishes he could do a sidewalk slam like the nemesis James Taylor. But both men, just from the pain that they've been through, you have to wonder who gets up first here. Who has the upper hand right now? This is what you're seeing on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, where the big boys play, where the greats wrestle, and that's where James Taylor and Anthony Steele are having a war that we hope to see more of in the near and distant future. And look at the shot here. Look at Steele. I mean, I don't know. Is Steele actually enjoying this? It looks like Steele is smiling a bit. I don't know if that's the right move for the young talent, but Taylor right now, he might be ready to finish him off, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by, because look at those punches. Those punches, I mean, listen, Alabama's own Bob Holly probably listen, wait a minute. What a sidekick, and another sidekick, a bunch of sidekicks here. Jackie Chan-like kicks, and here we go, and clothesline from hell there almost from the nemesis Taylor, and the nemesis got to get him up that count, and come on, 1, 2, and ooh, you know what? You have to wonder, did the referee get there in time? Because that could have been a 3, and you could see Taylor get a little bit frustrated. Can't blame the veteran, hoping to put away a young talent in Steele, and now we see here Taylor about to pull Steele up, and wait a minute, you know what? Is that almost a mild super kick, and wait a minute, another big boot from Steele, and that's a senton bomb there. There you go, and it could be it. 1, 2, was that a 3? Ladies and gentlemen, was that 2 9/10, 2 7/8? Because that looked to me like very close to 3. I mean, you have to wonder there, Was that a 3? And, Taylor's down, and, how much more can the veteran take? These are certainly not the same wars he had back in 98 and 99 and the attitude days of the TWF. And wait a minute, did he just hit his own finishing move on the Nemesis James Taylor? It looks like you book it. Say goodnight. 1, 2. And you have to wonder, was it the right move from the real deal Anthony Steele and kind of that nonchalant cover there? Have to wonder, was that the right move there? And we see a little bit of it, though. And Steele, I'm not quite sure who he's looking at, but now he maybe should motion to say goodnight. And I think he's motioning for some sweet chin music, maybe a Claymore, but stand back, and he gives him almost his own little version of it. And it's a 1, 2, 2.5. I'd say about 2.5 for those that are listening and watching at home. But you have to wonder, why is the veteran Taylor fighting with the TBW referee? And the referee fights back. I mean, have to wonder, how does this impact the match? Because Taylor should not have. That's a rookie mistake from a veteran who knows better. And it looks like he's about to go for a finishing. And wait a minute, stunner, but he's still not down. Steele's not down. Another one, another stunner, and he's still not down. He's got to do one more. Otherwise, I don't know what else can it take. Stunner! He's down. Cover him. What do you wait for, Taylor? And it's 1, 2, 3. He gets him, and it took not 1, not 2, but 3 stunners to get down Anthony Steele. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I've seen that before. It literally took everything humanly possible. There was no other way for the Nemesis James Taylor to get one over on the artist formerly known as Diablo. And the real deal now, Anthony Steele, but you have to wonder, Steele had many chances to put away Taylor. And was it inexperience? Was it overconfidence? I don't know. But Taylor, despite it all, no other way finds a way, and we see both men embracing. What's going to happen here? Oh, it's a handshake, and both men embrace. And obviously, credit to Steele. A lot of people would not have thought Steele would do that. We see Taylor looking by, and Stunner! Wait, I can't believe it. The Nemesis James Taylor. You can never trust a Nemesis. You can never trust somebody in the legendary veteran Nemesis James Taylor. Anthony Steele, the real deal, paid for that one dearly. This was no video game. This was no simulation. And the veteran got one over on the rookie. And just maybe for now, ladies and gentlemen, the Nemesis has won the battle. Has he won the war? Who knows? But I know one thing. This was a match for the ages. This was definitely something that was epic. And I hope that we see more matches that yours truly calls here on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters here. So obviously, we're going to now pull this back to the screen and bring back the Nemesis James Taylor. So, I'll bring this back up to the screen. We'll get to comments. So first of all, my reactions we'll get to in a minute, but your reactions to yours truly on the call, and also reactions to watching that match back now that it's been a couple years.
It's been a while since I watched it. You did an A1 plus job, Tom. Appreciate that. I'm sure you got a little bit of parched off of that, but that was a damn sure that was some good calling. So yeah, I appreciate that. It's exciting to watch it, listen to you, and you hear your reaction in real time. So yeah, and I hope that the audience liked it for whoever stayed to watch it.
Well, a lot of people are still here, actually. A lot of people are still here. We'll get to them in a few minutes for sure.
Let's point out the fact that whole match was done in 22 degrees. It was between 20 and 25 that whole day. And it was freezing, but then we needed to get that show out. And when I took that suplex at the beginning onto the ground, that was some hard ass.
We saw you go like this. So, you were like, ah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you say that I can't back it up and I don't know what I'm doing, that match.
And that was a hardcore match. I would say this. We talk about guys all the time on here. Obey, Hardcore, Mikey, Anarchy, Jimmy, Controversy. One of the guys you know very well, Atomic Titan. But that match, you know what you and Steele put your bodies through, and especially in 20-degree weather. I mean, was there a thought to, hey, you know what? I don't think I should do the match the way that we did it because of the cold. I mean, what was your thoughts on that?
The only thought I had was I wanted to hurt him. I didn't care if it was storming. I didn't care
Well,
if it
you
was
guys
negative.
look like you punched each other a couple times. Like you guys were throwing some haymakers. It
I
was
didn't care if it was negative 22 degrees, Tom. I still would have went out there and beat the hell out of him because that's all I wanted to do.
Well, there's some people I'm sure in his chat that probably were happy you did it. I could see that they're, were from different companies that have, shared an experience with Anthony, and they probably, were happy about that. So I think there are legitimately, people that were happy about that. Let me get to some people. I want to actually do that here. So, also, let's say hello here to also my buddy Justin Parsley. I think that's something that for Trinity and Hurt, Justin liked my commentary. Thank you, Justin, for that. I appreciate that. Maybe Justin, I'll do your commentary, one of your matches one of these days. And thank you, Trinity, for the kind words. Michael liked the match. Trinity wanted Steele to lose because, well, Steele was in XCW. I'm sure you knew that he was the New Age champion there. So somebody wants me in XCW for one night. I mean, never say never. Maybe I could be on the call. Maybe you never know. She agrees with that. When you guys wrestle a match like that, and let's talk about the blood aspect of it. You guys are bleeding the way it was. I mean, how do you able to continue a match like that in the ways that you did, more or less?
Well, I mean, I was hitting him with those signs when we were going back and forth after he jumped on me with the ladder and everything. And we were hitting each other with those signs. I hit him just right and split his skull wide open. And that's exactly what I do. I'm going to hurt somebody if they're challenging me and they're stepping up to me. He wanted a hardcore match. He wanted new school backyard wrestling against old school backyard wrestling. And I brought the old school to him, the old 90s and 2000s, early 2000s. I brought all that war to him. And then when he hit that Claymore with me, if you noticed, I had a steel chair because I was about to line him up, but he hit me with that Claymore out of nowhere, split me open. I wasn't bleeding as bad as he was. He didn't get the job done well enough, but it was still enough to hurt me. I'm not going to say I didn't walk away from that match limping, but I did. The fact is he came up short. Yeah, it took 3 stunners. The fact is he's a tough bastard. I'm going to give the kid credit.
Listen, you know what? People can say what they want about Anthony, but in terms of his ring ability, you can't deny what he's done in the ring. I mean, his ring ability, I said it on the call, he's kind of like our Shawn Michaels of the Yard and the Underground in terms of his ring ability. I mean, we've seen him in IMF. We've seen him in XCW. We've seen him in TBW. We've seen him in other places. And, his ring ability, can't deny it. You can say what you want about somebody outside of that, but for a talent aspect, he's one of the best I've covered.
Yeah. He's he lives up to what he's doing. He's still got a lot to learn. I mean, I'm learning every day too. Even when I go to get in the ring, I'm still learning all the time. It's the fact that he wanted to go out there with somebody with my caliber, and he brought me out of retirement. That's one thing I have to say about Anthony Steele is he's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons, not the reason, but one of the main reasons that I came out of retirement. I stopped wrestling in 2008. I had a brief little training thing that I went for a few months in 2015 and 16, and then I just kind of was like, eh. And but he gave me a reason to step back out of retirement and into the Yard, and it's been a thing since. I guess you could call me the part-timer of the backyard industry. And I mean, but it's beside the point. When I show up now, I show up and I do my job. I do exactly what I do best, and there it is.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm curious. Have you ever wrestled in anything as cold as that prior?
No. No, close, but no. I've wrestled in 30 and 40 degrees before, back in the heyday. But most of the time, whenever we wrestled, we always liked to wrestle when it was super duper hot, especially in the middle of the Texas.
Oh, I mean, and I know that if you're in the Yard, usually you don't wrestle until it's about like above 50. I think that's the magic number. Above 50 is like the magic number.
And stay tuned because I just got one of my converters that's coming from Amazon in the mail, the right one I needed for my VHS, and I'm going to be getting all the rest of my old school matches on that nobody has seen, especially in my YouTube audience or your audience. So maybe just maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe we could call some of my old.
Oh, you better believe. Oh, hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah. Doing the Mimic the Stone Cold stuff.
I bet you'd love that.
Oh, hell yeah. You're making me think about those great days in 98, 99, 2000, calling those matches. Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so obviously we're going to move on to the next one in the interest of time, but I do want to ask you in terms of, how much did that match take a toll on you? And then as a follow-up, how much of that match was organically on the fly?
Organically on the fly was probably about 90% of it.
To me, it looked like that was not a rehearsed match. The spots
No.
you guys did in that match, the different things, the ladder shot to me was definitely, not rehearsed.
Well, that's how I ran it. I wanted to call that match basically like I did back in the day. We didn't rehearse matches back in the day. We would go out there and just tear each other apart. And that's what made it so great. Today, everybody wants to run the backyard industry like a freaking indie or a pro company. I get that to an extent, but at the same time, you're leaving the true nature of what backyard wrestling really is. And backyard wrestling is guys going out there having a blast, beating the hell out of each other and getting away with it for free because they're doing what they love passionately. And that's why I was so pissed off the other night with those other guys who sitting there saying that they are backyard wrestling when they don't even know what in the hell backyard wrestling is.
Are you talking about Are you talking about yesterday's guest or the guest that's from your home state?
Yeah, that guest from my home state.
Home state, that one. Well, he has an opinion. I would say that
his opinion is garbage. I'm sorry.
No, but think of it this way. Anthony has an opinion. Some people like it. Some people don't. Let's think of it the same way. You can look at it in terms of their ring talents. Anthony's a phenomenal in-ring talent. ADT is a phenomenal in-ring talent. Are you going to agree with them outside the ring? Maybe some people might not. Probably not.
But maybe in the ring, would I like to have a match with ADT? If he wanted to be professional, you're damn right I would. I'd like to test strength versus strength. We can see who can really do what and how he hold up in the ring with me. But personally, I don't like him.
Okay. Now, if I were to say to you, though, that Mr. Steele caught the match and he would like to give his reaction of yours truly on the call, would you be okay with that? Would you like to see him and give his thoughts on the match?
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to do that. So, maybe we won't call Omen's match. Well, because Anthony's going to be here. He'd like to speak. So I'll let Anthony speak because I called his match. So I'm going to actually let him do that. So while you're on here for the first time on Sportswire Radio, I hope you give us a sub at 6579. We're on YouTube at Sportswire Radio. And we're also on Twitch now. So if you're a gamer, I'm on Twitch now at Sportswire Radio. So
really?
I'm on Twitch. Yeah, I'm on Twitch. Because, StreamYard allows you to connect on Switch for free. So that's why I'm on Twitch.
This is a little bit extra you need to do. You need to, like tonight or tomorrow, create you a TikTok because you can dual stream Twitch and TikTok at the same time.
Yeah, the problem is my StreamYard, I can't. I actually could do Instagram even, but it's like an overload. But we're going to hold on to that thought because I want to bring him on here, the man that we just saw on the screen. And his name is Anthony Steele.
Oh, my God. I'm just kidding.
Anthony, good to see you as always. I hope that you're well. Nice to see you. Obviously, we're going to see you here to be inducted into the Hall of Fame next month. But let me get your reactions. First of all, what did you think of my commentary on the match?
Oh, I just got off work.
Oh, okay.
But I came in and I heard, some of the stuff of what y'all been saying about like backyard wrestling. And that was one thing me and James
I hope you get a chance to hear the commentary because I actually called the entire match. I hope if you get a chance, I would recommend you
watch it. I'll watch this back. But that's one thing me and James can agree on is, back in the day, it was on the fly. You never knew what was going to happen just as much as they didn't know. And, that's what made the match at TBW spectacular. And I'll still say it. To this day, I don't know if James still hears it, but I still hear it, that we were the opening match. We were the opening
first one, most impression. That's the most important impression.
But here's the thing. The match was filmed. Here, let me break the fourth wall, James, if you don't mind.
We set the pace for the whole show, and we
Here's the thing. That match actually got shot last. That was the last match to get shot, but it was the opening match. And everyone said that match beat the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship on that card. That match beat every single match on that card. And that was the one thing me and James looked at it is we want to set the tempo for everyone else. Because at that point, I was on my way out the door for TBW. James was, just now getting in. And, what how could we do this? How could we make James Taylor versus Anthony Steele phenomenal? And, you know, a lot of people want to call a match and be like, oh, let's do this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot. Let me be clear. I'm going to tell you this. If you haven't been doing wrestling for 10, 15 fucking years, you ain't going to remember every single spot that you call before a match. And I would love to hear someone say they can, because I want to call bullshit. That's a lot of the stuff, even professional wrestlers in WWE, AEW, TNA will all say. Some of the most outrageous fucking best things that they've done in a match was called on a fly and just see their work. Take for instance, one of the greatest things that ever happened in WWE, Evan Bourne's shooting star press into an RKO. Randy Orton literally said that they asked about it. And when they asked about it, he was like, you know what, let's just do it. He's like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. If we mess up, we mess up on live television. And that was a one take. They tried it out. It worked. Now it's notorious with the wrestling industry.
Well, let me ask you a question. We were talking about the weather. It was 20 plus degrees. Why did you take your shirt off if it was that cold?
I got hot.
Really? So you were that fired up, but basically from the match.
Yeah, my adrenaline was rushing. You know, I was bleeding a lot. Hey, you know, it's just one of those things. When I get into a match, I don't care if it's 23 degrees. I don't care if it's 90 degrees. I don't care if it's 50 degrees. When I'm in that match, that's my focus. You know, and I've said this multiple times. In character, me and James are frenemies. You know, we hate each other. We hate each other, but we respect each other. We respect what each other has done and is going to do in our careers. Outside of wrestling, I'm really cool with James. James is a really cool guy to sit down and talk to, you know. And working with James was, I've said this before, it was a test for me to see if I could live up to the standards that I set for myself. Is bringing James, a dude that did it when I was just a child, you know, was doing it way before me, you know, and I was like, you know what, I want to bring him back. I want to see how I can add up to someone.
It was a fun match. I've watched the match before, but calling the match was so different than when I watched it, you know, I don't know, 10 months ago, 11 months ago, the first time, right? But, you know, watching it and then calling it and getting in, I feel like I was in the match, you know, and seeing the spots you had, obviously the ladders, you know, the cookie trays, you know, then, you know, the spots that you guys had with the clay, the steel chair, the claymores, you know, then obviously the multiple stunners, then you obviously your leg drops, your big boots, you know, the senton bomb, you know, all the different things that, you know, in the match, it was really like, you know, watching it, I said this, Anthony Steele, in my call, which I'm sure you'll get a chance to check out later on at some point. You are kind of like the Shawn Michaels of the yard and the underground, where what I mean is that nobody can deny, whether they like you or not, that pound for pound, you're one of the best talents out there. Just like Shawn Michaels in his heyday. Not talking about when he became a born-again Christian. Yes, he was still good, but in that peak run of his in the 1990s, he was the guy. You know, he could have a great match with anybody. And you had a match with James Taylor. I'm going to let James come back in a second. But that was a match where I think it showcased that you were kind of like the Shawn Michaels of the yard and the underground.
So there's one thing I'd like to say that I have to, I was just saying anyways, but Anthony, you're here, you can hear it. But I have to point out, and whether anybody wants to deny it or not, and this is the first time you'll ever hear this from me, Anthony, but this is straight up facts. This is a straight shoot. Of anybody I've been in the ring, outside of the kayfabe, Anthony was, whether he was feeling it or whatever, he was tremendously selling everything that I was giving him, and vice versa. And you don't see that much in backyard wrestling. It's more like, hey, look, he just took a leg drop, but now he's right back up. Anthony was selling his ass off to make me look the best that I could, and that I have to give him props to. And that's a big thing in this business that a lot of these young guys don't know, is the selling aspect, the storytelling.
Well, we saw a chair. You know, if I could for a second, we had Craven Rage on here get a chair shot taken and didn't sell the chair shot. I mean, you know, I hate to blow up Craven Rage. But,
what?
You know. We had on Sportswire. He got a chair. I think it was either Skulls or James Marshall, and he got right back up afterwards.
So
I'm just saying.
Before you say anything,
he's great, but he was on the show. But the guy didn't sell the move.
It's if you look at that match, it's not just your typical hardcore death match or a hardcore wrestling match. This was a story-driven match between two guys, a young lion and an older lion, fighting for what
experience they love. Versus inexperience. And I said it was like a street fight. I said it was like a brawl. It was a match that, to me, it was like, forget about the standards, forget about anything else. It was a true match that you could see that there was something going on.
At that point, I wouldn't even call it a brawl. Like, the way I looked at it, it was like figuratively a war. It was a war.
Oh, listen, I said, to me, there was some haymakers being thrown there.
It was a war between me and James, because, like I said, I've said this other places. Me versus James, we both looked at each other and we said, let's give it everything we got. Like, if you get gassed, try to push through it. Let's put on the best fucking match.
That was a long match. That wasn't 10 minutes. That was about, 19, 20 minutes, something like that. That match was, that wasn't like, 4 minutes. Hey, okay, let's get to the finish. That was like 19, 20 minutes.
Me and James, we looked at each other, and it was cool actually doing this match, because like during it, it wasn't us going into competition on who can do bigger stunts. It was more of us in an agreement of, okay, what can we do to follow up what we just did? Mm-hmm. Like what's bigger than, like, okay, so when I dove over the barricade and landed on James.
Yes.
I went out, pondered to the crowd, everything. And then James and me looked at each other and was like, suplex over the barricade. And he was like,
oh, James was in so much pain. He was like,
he goes, do you got me? I said, do you trust me? And he said, I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason not to. We did it. We pulled it off. Everyone there looked at us after the match and they were like, why?
Besides taking that big ass bump on the ground, all I cared about was that he wasn't going to break my neck, and he kept my neck far from it. It was just my back hitting and my ribs hurting. But
I also got to ask. I actually, when you hear the call, I don't want to spoil too much, and maybe we will play some of Omen's match in a few minutes. I do want to play it actually, but I do want. Yeah, we'll play. We're going to play some of it, but I do want to ask you, Anthony Steele, and I had a line that I came up with saying the Tennessee State Athletic Commission, are they going to let you continue with all the blood that you had? I mean, you were like, it was almost like it was a rush of blood to the head almost in there. I mean, I was surprised the Athletic Commission really didn't step in.
He was bleeding like a stuffed pig.
That's the thing, though, is and people don't take this as a shoot. Take this as me being honest. Everyone was weary about, blood. They were like, Anthony, how much are you going to bleed? Are you going to be able to compete? And then I'd probably say about 5 or 6 times during that match, Jay Wild or Titan, I would hear, you good? Can you still go? Like, are you okay? And then literally as the match ended, cameras cut off, everything, people still came up and they're like, are you good? Can you see me? Are you coherent? And it was one of those things where, me and James talked about it. Me and James talked about it before, like, us even coming to Tennessee. How far do we want to go? How far do we want to push ourselves for this? And I told him, I want to go as far as I can. And so he brought up the idea of blood. And so I was like, you know what? You're down, I'm down. It would be the first time that I actually was able to do something like that. Because in NJPW, a lot of people didn't like blood. They were like, oh, I'm going to get your blood on me. Don't.
Well, it's a taboo subject. A lot of companies, it depends on your state. There's certain laws. There's also certain things. It's not.
Well, It's not. It wasn't even about the laws. It was about the.
Well, I'm saying other companies in general that come onto the platform. They're in different states where they may not be able to get away with certain things, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'll say the first time I ever bled was Raging. I think it was Raging Summers 2018, 2019. Where Zach Attack hit me with that light tube, and at first, like, no one wanted me to do it with my shirt off. Because they were like, we don't want all this blood and everything. Well, Zach got in the moment. My shirt was off, and he just whacked me with that glass tube. And I mean, I started pouring. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a piece of my skin that got took out
from
that glass tube. Like, there's a whole scar there. And everyone was like, holy fucking shit. And, after the match, again, people was like, are you good? Are you okay? And then at that point, I started realizing I can take a lot more damage than what I thought I could. And then it got to Massacre 2019, and where my kneecap got split open. And I mean, it was split. And he put me in a single leg Boston Crab on the leg that was split open. And you can literally see my skin start peeling apart. And just blood started gushing out. And the Noah, or as y'all know him from NJPW Division Nick.
Yep.
He literally told me, he was like, if you don't go to the hospital right now, I'm not booking you ever again. Because I was just going to let it heal. I was just going to be like, it's not that bad. Well, come to find out, I get to the hospital. The dude said if I would have applied pressure on it for about 5 more minutes, my kneecap would have shot out of my leg.
Let me ask you this. Do you work differently now when it comes to bleeding? Now that you're obviously NOCW, are you working differently when it comes to bleeding? I mean, we saw today, but
I haven't. It hasn't came to a predicament where I need to bleed yet, so that hasn't really came up. Now the day will come. I know where I'm gonna bleed again, and the way I look at it is I survived this long. Like James, the match with James. The match with DJ Wahlberg where he did it and he did it.
But yes. Yeah, and you were at XCW right after this. Yes, you went to XCW right after this. You in 2022. Yep.
Yeah, and me and DJ did a spot for that. I mean, I wear the scar loud and proud on my forehead. You can't really see it unless you get close. But like a lot of people, when they see that match, whether it's James or DJ. Whenever it's more when they see blood, they're like, how are you still able to go? And honestly, I don't have an answer. It's just
I have an answer. The old man's got an answer. Your endorphins were kicking in. Your adrenaline was running 100 miles an hour. You feel invincible. When there's something about tasting your own blood, you just get this sudden rush, and that's why you were able to go when you kept going with me. And I've been there, and I know exactly what that feels like. And if we ever watch one of my matches later on, back from 2004, I got a light tube to the back of my neck. And in the middle of the match, they stopped and were peeling glass out of the back of my neck. I still got the scar on the back of mine, and there's a piece of glass in there. It's been in there for over 20 years still. Never was removed.
I want to say one last thing, and then ask a question. I will say to everybody, this ain't Anthony Steele talking. This is Anthony Holloway talking at this point. I've faced a lot of guys in my career, and whether it be backyard or indie, and I still say, for as old as James is, and for don't take that disrespectfully. As old as James is, and how long he was out of the business, James still, I'd say, is probably the best wrestler I faced.
Wow, you faced some big names. You have faced some big names in this sport. You have faced some people that, a lot of people talk about on this platform. For you, that's big words from the real deal, Anthony Steele. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of people hearing this from places you worked for once upon a time and opponents of yours. I mean, that's a lot, I mean, interesting words there.
The way I look at it is with James, he sees wrestling how I see it. tell a story. A lot of people right now in backyard wrestling, there's 3 things that they're missing: selling, storytelling, and technical. A lot of people try technical, but they don't know what true technical wrestling is. That's why when we face a resurrection, James was like, I want a normal match. I want to do.
We're going to watch that match next Sunday. So next Sunday, that match we're going to watch.
I'm off next Sunday, and that was going to be my question. Can I call that match with y'all? Can I call that match with y'all?
Next Sunday night, you can absolutely watch the match. I would love it. What I will ask you, and if you take a look at how I called the match, the one we just did with you and him and TBW, I'm going to call the match. And then afterwards, you can sit back, watch me do the call, and then we can talk about the match as if it just took place. That's kind of how James and I have been running these things. I mean, so yeah, okay. I would love to have you. Yeah, you would definitely love to have that.
And James, the one thing I'll say about James is he's safe. He makes sure that no matter what happens, if you take a big bump,
so he's not a big red silver wolf.
No, he will look at you. I can't remember what.
He wouldn't be a loose cannon.
Sidewalk slam on that.
The
sidewalk slam on the chair.
Sidewalk slam on the chair. He looks at me. He goes for the pin. I kick out, and he goes, "Are you good?" I was like, "Bro, I didn't even feel it." I was like, "I did not even."
All
feel
I needed to know.
And he goes, he looks at me like with this little smirk, and he goes, "All right, kid, you're gonna feel it tomorrow, but let's go."
Wow.
We got up. We finished the match. Number one thing about James is he's a safe worker. He checks in on his opponents, and he makes sure that not only he looks good, but his opponent looks good. And that's the one thing that me and James did throughout each of our matches is, especially where a lot of people looked at me and was like, James is so much smaller than you. Why are you selling bigger moves?
I talked a lot about that in the match when I called the size advantage. I mentioned your size advantage. That's right.
And that's the thing with it is, he might be a small in height, but he's got some weight to him. James
he works tough. He works he's a tough guy. James has got that tough blue collar. He's a blue collar fighter. He's he's no loose cannon.
Hey, James, I'll say this, and this ain't to blow smoke up your ass. This ain't to boost any egos around here. This is me dead ass saying what I've seen and felt in the ring. James Taylor has the best stunner in backyard wrestling. Best stunner.
Soldier GP, I think Soldier GP just woke up just now. He just woke up.
I look, Soldier, you do what you do, but James Taylor has embodied the Stone Cold Stunner to a fucking T.
Oh boy,
appreciate it.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I did since I promised, and I want to catch some of the match. So we'll obviously talk out loud, and we'll get reactions of Omen Black's triple threat Extreme Rules match. Speaking of hardcore, for the IMF hardcore title, we'll let the guys go along and talk about it. So maybe we'll move a little bit forward of interest in time in the introduction. So let's do that here first. So let's go here. Let's move along. Let's do it here. Okay. So, gotta wait for this. Uh-oh. Somebody wants to buy merchandise. Hold on one second.
Hey, that's time for me to promote. I got merch on Redbubble. Go check it out.
You got merchandise? You know what? When we close the show, I will let you link that, and I'll even go further. You have Redbubble merchandise. I will buy a shirt when we're off the air. How about that? I'll screenshot it to you. All right? We'll make a deal. All right, so let's move to the entrances here. Damian Saint, we're going to, just because of the interest of time, we want to move to the entrances. Okay, so I think, yes.
Should I be my broadcast self?
No, yeah, whatever you want. I mean, I'll call the match, and whatever you guys want to do. You want to talk, give reactions, and, watch it as if it's the first time. You guys, I've watched this match before, but you guys get a chance to see.
Right.
But that's why we're going to do it. So, what?
I was going to call it with you. Because I know Omen wanted me to call it too. So.
Absolutely, yes. You guys are more than welcome to whatever you want to say. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to maybe move about 10 seconds forward. Okay, so you know what? I think we're about ready, so let's go. I think we're ready.
It looks like, we are getting ready there, Mr.
There we go. And that's it.
Go for it.
Look at the size advantage of Omen Black, but, smart tactics here, you think, gentlemen, with obviously Damian Saint and Matthew Forsaken trying to team up a little bit on Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest. But the boogeyman here is certainly trying to use his size to the advantage here of his. So let's see. Obviously, he's got some type of object there. And he's using
like got some type of a pull string or something. I don't know what he pulled out of his head.
Well, his head is literally an object of weapon of choice. So you can't blame him. He is the boogeyman of the Midwest after all. So let's see what he's coming up with here. And we see looks like Saint and Forsaken. Again, Forsaken and Omen Black, for those that are watching here, they have had a number of wars throughout 2023. But Damian Saint, a respected wrestler, respected guy in the scene in Iowa, in the independent scene, certainly has not seen Omen Black before. So very curious how this unfolds. And it looks like we see a couple of objects. We have a crutch. We have a couple of garbage cans. One is broke. The other one is maybe still as new. And we'll see if these things come into fruition. Maybe a kendo stick is there also. And it looks like we've got Omen here is going to use his. It looks like Matthew Forsaken used him in some way. Did he have an object there of some sort? But
I think he did, Tom. I think he had some sort of an object.
And there's
that was a damn trash can.
Well, you know what? It comes handy, and why not? Certainly timber, as some would say, when it comes to the size advantages, Omen's size advantage definitely is taken down there. But there's Matthew Forsaken with those chair shots. And of course,
he needs to put a little more oomph into that steel chair shot, don't you think, Tom?
Maybe it's the inexperience of Forsaken in the big match settings, unlike Omen Black. Of course, Omen Black throughout 2023 scared off Craven Rage. And there's Damian Saint, the veteran, using his body as an object, and he is working up the crowd here. An interesting tactic for the veteran Damian Saint. Of course, Damian Saint, a respected wrestler in the Iowa independent wrestling scene. Omen Black is bleeding. He is already bleeding, and you have to wonder. Omen Black, certainly the hometown hero in this match, but he's certainly bloodied up, and have to wonder how this is going to help him or hurt him in this match, because you have to wonder with his size, and the longer this match goes, this would have to be the advantage for Damian Saint, James Taylor, because Damian Saint's a respected pro wrestler. He's been in thousands of these types of long matches before, so you have to wonder, can Omen recover here in a match like this?
Well, with all due respect to Damian Saint, I mean, Mr. Omen Black, that's a 400-pound bastard. He could take a licking. I can damn sure appreciate that.
And obviously, Anthony Steele, we have somebody here, Anthony Steele, who's firsthand felt the wrath of Omen Black. And Damian Saint there goes for our first count of the night, and certainly not going to work there. But obviously, for you, Anthony Steele, you've obviously been in the ring with Omen Black. For those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, talk about what the size is in real time in dealing with Omen Black.
I mean, Omen Black, he uses his size to his advantage. Him being the bigger opposition in this match, he's going to make sure that even in a double attack situation on him, he's going to use everything around him as a weapon and his body. Because a lot of people look at him as, he's just a heavier set guy. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. But I'll say this, that dude can pack a punch. And his head feels like a Mack truck. I'll tell you.
He's using it as an object. I mean, how many guys in this sport can say that they're using their head as an object? And he's doing that. Let me ask you, though, Anthony, obviously, as we're watching this match unfold, talking to the audience about how different of an opponent Omen is compared to James, because you've obviously been in the ring with both.
I mean, James, he's more, he's technical. He's old school. And Omen, he's getting to this hardcore phase. He wants to feel the pain, and the pain drives him harder than anything. The more pain and agony he's in is the harder he's going to go in a match. Me and him doing that last man standing match, I gave him everything that I could. He gave me everything he could. And I felt like the more that I just beat down on him is the stronger that he would get.
And we see here Matthew Forsaken now is taking it here to Omen Black. And of course, Forsaken, for those that are listening and watching, was the DKW World Champion through much of 2023. So he's very experienced in winning championships. Omen, of course, was a former IMF World Heavyweight Champion. He has certainly been the boogeyman to the likes of Craven Rage. A lot of people had claimed Craven Rage was the backyard nightmare, ruler of the yard. And a lot of people thought he might have just basically been some, maybe costume character character at a local Party City in terms of his run in the backyard scene. But I digress, and we see Forsaken now going off the top rope. Interesting tactic here by Forsaken, and we see here he dives right on here. Kind of an awkward landing there, but he gets down. Omen 1, 2, and an awkward. We don't know if how quick of a close of a count that was, but Damian Saint's back out there on the outside, and Saint has a chair there. And interesting tactic. Go ahead, Anthony Steele, jump in.
They need to hire a new cameraman. Why are you going away from the pin? We need to be able to see that.
Let me ask you guys this question, James Taylor. You're a veteran also. Would you say it's fair to say that in the longer this match goes, maybe a veteran like Saint, it would be the upper hand because he's been here before, he's been on the pro scene, and he's certainly been there with some big guys like Gangrel in the past, so he knows what it's like to be in this stage. Is that a fair point going as we watch this match here continuing?
I don't know how many years he's got in this business to really call him a veteran. I mean, I really don't know his career at all. Nice bump right there by Omen Black, by the way. But I got to say
1, 2. That's a 2. 2.5. 2.5.
But one thing about Omen, I can already tell just from my veteran experience is that he's taken 90% of the violence and the impact in this ring so far. And the way it seems that he operates is just like what Anthony said. I'll go on better on it. The more he takes, that just means he's going to blow up at the end and beat the hell out of everybody.
I think he's being was that a staple? Ladies and gentlemen,
like a staple gun. Classic.
Oh my goodness!
I don't do the staple gun. That ain't my cup of tea.
Well, you know what? Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest, has been stapled. And stay tuned because in future matches with Damian Saint and Omen Black, we've seen that come into play. But Saint here has certainly got Omen Black right where he wants it. And to recap for those that are listening and watching, the winner becomes the IMF Hardcore Championship. This is for the IMF Hardcore title. And that crutch there, you see Damian Saint in full control here. And obviously, Damian Saint just working on going to town on both Forsaken and Black. I still tend to think here that Saint might have the upper hand because he's the veteran here in this match. But again, Omen Black has shown that, whether it's the likes of Anthony Steele, the likes of certainly Nicholas Crenson, the likes of, certainly the guys in ROEW like Jason Storm and so many other people in different feds, XCW's Justin Parsley and Rob Slater, Omen Black has certainly been very impressive, and we'll see if the hometown crowd maybe gets behind Omen Black. It remains to be seen, but Damian Saint is just working on Matthew Forsaken, and Forsaken, we're not all Forsaken right now because you were Forsaken getting a number of Forsaken-like shots there, and those Ric Flair chops, and of course Flair's birthday was yesterday. Now we're in the 26th of February, and vicious hit there by Matthew Forsaken. Kind of maybe a mini close on the base. Omen Black. Omen gets him in. There it is. There it is. It's the Bray Wyatt move. 1, 2. And no, he's not going to quite get him there.
I call that the boss man slam. Because
I call that the black hole slam.
Well, yeah. Abyss also throw in Abyss there as well. But Omen Black is certainly now working the upper hand on Matthew Forsaken. And, of course, Forsaken and Black have feuded throughout 2023. And Omen Black has definitely got some color. No, that is not Heinz ketchup. That is actually blood. And Omen Black is certainly, that's been a Fascina. Boy, what a nice move there. Nice little move there by Omen Black. Showing some versatility there. And doesn't quite get it.
Like I said, they worked on him. And then they give him time to breathe. He was just amping himself up in that corner. And then as soon as he saw the time to strike, oh man, did he ever strike.
And it looks like here, you have to wonder, what is Damian Saint doing on the outside? Obviously, he's got something in his hands. And you have to wonder, what's that going to be and who is that going to be used upon? And he's got is that a beer? Is that a Stone Cold beer? Or is that some type of drink? I mean, we'd certainly love to know, but it looks like here he's toasting maybe at Omen Black's demise. But it looks like another chair, and it could be a chair. And certainly a chair is coming into play very shortly here. And Omen Black is struggling to get up his feet here. Anthony Steele and James Taylor are on the call with me. And if you're on YouTube out there, give us that sub button at Sportswire Radio 657, and I'll call your matches. And we're going to be calling round 2 of Steele and Taylor next week live on the platform. But are we seeing a toast between two of the finest in Iowa? It looks like we might be getting a toast here. I mean, boy, James Taylor and Anthony Steele didn't do one of these. Certainly, I didn't see Jack Delter and James Taylor do one of these, but it looks like here, a toast. And boy, oh, wait a minute. This isn't a toast. it's sort of a slaps to the face. I mean, boy, Stephanie McMahon don't pack a punch like these two guys do when she was doing her famous slaps during the middle of the last decade. And here we go, and it looks like Omen and St. Boy. Loose Cannon, if I were you, I would never show up on Sportswire Radio with Omen Black again, especially watching this here, calling the match, and seeing what Omen Black brings to the table. And boy, it looks like here, is that a choke slam? It looks like it was some maybe inverted rock bottom, but what?
That was a Uranagi right there.
The rock bottom. Yep, the rock bottom, pretty much.
Broke that chair.
And I'll tell you what, right now, if you're a Big Bad Silver Wolf, if you're a Craven Rage, if you're a Loose Cannon, if you're a Tyler Ark, watch this match, close your eyes, and maybe never consider wanting to wrestle the likes of Omen Black. And Matthew Forsaken, we are all Forsaken. It looks like Barbed Wire is on that chair, and, Forsaken is obviously going to make Omen Black his Forsaken victim here with this. And there's some stomps there. He's stomping on him. He's stomping a mud hole, kind of a little bit of a leg drop there, and maybe wise to get a count maybe a few seconds earlier, but Forsaken doesn't care. He just wants to pummel the boogeyman of the Midwest. And obviously Anthony Steele has the unique perspective of actually wrestling Omen Black, and he's here live on the call with us. And Anthony Steele, if you're watching out there, is going to go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame March the 24th, and we're going to call one of Anthony Steele's matches also with him on this. So Anthony Steele, of course, is going to be in the hall. And whoa, is that a elbow drop from the top? It looked like it there from the outside. And Forsaken looks like he took the brunt of the pain here. But, gentlemen, interesting kind of strategy. But then Sting comes in there, 1, 2, and if you were handicapping this match right now, do you have somebody who has an upper hand right now between these three gentlemen? And for you guys, obviously, as this match continues to kind of come toward the finish?
It's going to be, the upper hand's going to be either Damian because he's more the in-ring veteran, or maybe even Matthew Forsaken, because if you see, they're sneaking and doing what they can to get the opportunity to get a quick pinfall over someone else's accord.
Again, I say, y'all leaving out Omen Black. He's just taking his time on the outside to recover, and that's what they're failing to realize is they're giving the big man.
Well, how about Damian saying that with the basically, you want to talk about over cockiness and overconfident? That count certainly is not going to do it the way he tried to get a 3 count. But now it looks like Forsaken and Saint, there is no alliance between these two guys. They definitely don't like each other. And how about this here? And is he biting him, or he headbutts him? No, he headbutts him. Certainly, Dennis Rodman is certainly going to be pretty envious there. But, of course, Rodman was the legendary NBA Hall of Famer who used to headbutt people. And that's obviously a different generation.
I want to split his skull open right there. If him sitting down in the middle of this match.
Suplex. Kind of, was it supposed to go on the chair? It didn't.
It was supposed to be a brain buster on the chair.
But wait a minute. What is Omen Black doing there? He's got a TV there, and you know what? Loose Cannon, you might want to jump out of the TV next time you see Omen Black on Sportswire Radio when you're going to be on the show. And obviously, those Triple W Wrestling guys certainly might want to think about maybe going to Single W Wrestling after maybe some of the things they had to say on yesterday's show, but that's here nor there. But Omen Black using his head as an object, and you can clearly see that Omen Black now is in control. And I don't know if I've seen a TV in a match before, maybe in a Madman Pondo match, but we're going to get a chance to watch maybe somebody's head go through a TV in this triple threat match, Extreme Rules, for the IMF Hardcore Championship here in IMF's first ever live indoor show, a sellout. And congratulations to the guys. You can check out the IMF on their YouTube channel at IMF Wrestling 666, and certainly it'll be a 666. Remember, Anthony Steele used to be called Diablo, and obviously Anthony Steele knows a thing or two about that. And James Taylor, of course, the legendary Nemesis, of course, one of the greatest Resident Evil gamers of all time, great cooker, huge following on TikTok and YouTube. Go check this man out. It's an honor to have these two guys here each and every week on Sportswire Radio. You get the legends here on Sportswire Radio. It is all killer, no filler, and we are watching some of our favorite matches. You tell me what you want to watch, and we'll certainly do it, as long as it's not a Big Bad Silver Wolf match. But that's here nor there. But obviously, we're watching
a Loose Cannon match. That's all I got.
Loose Cannon's greatest hits coming to a DVD near you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to get a Loose Cannon greatest hits. DVDs are still a thing, and maybe there is a Loose Cannon match out there. Maybe a Craven Rage Loose Cannon could be a Melter 5-star match, but I digress. But here's the kendo stick there. You got to look at the kendo stick there. Looks like from Damian Saint and the veteran, he's just pummeling both these men. You have to wonder with a veteran experience, a guy who's been in this setting, how much will that be for the upper hand to help Damian? Is Damian Saint going to hit one out of the park there? Certainly he's doing his own best version of Aaron Judge, of course, the New York Yankees slugger. I'm a Mets fan, but we threw that one out there, but that's here nor there. But there's a garbage can to the back for Omen Black, and certainly Omen Black felt the brunt of that, but I have no doubt that we'll see more of this throughout these next several minutes of the match. And obviously IMF continuing to put on live shows. Their next show is coming up on March the 16th. So make sure you check that out. And it looks like there are a bunch of punches. They're almost stone cold like and James Taylor like. And we see a number of punches there for Forsaken. And these guys, I mean, it's anyone's guess at this point, Anthony. Still anyone's guess who can win this match. And, you know.
The way I look at it is Forsaken is pissed. He is pissed. He's taken the blunt of a lot of things from both men.
And Omen's been torturing him throughout 2023. I mean, he has tortured him throughout this year. I mean, you gave it your best, but Matthew Forsaken has been a victim. And now look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at Matthew Forsaken, the side of his back here. You know, he might forever be forsaken with the pain that he has felt out there in Iowa. But Omen Black is getting up somehow. This man, Omen Black, you cannot put this man down. Like I said, if you were out there and you were Loose Cannon, you were Big Bad Silver Wolf, if you were Craven Rage, if you were Tyler Ark, if you were Mason Black, if you were anybody else that wants to call out Omen Black, I would certainly say be viewer advised and tread very, very lightly. And of course, Omen Black is also going to be in the ring for XCW's Encounters this Thursday in the main event against Justin Parsley and Rob Slater, along with Soldier GP for those tag team championships. But right now, Omen Black, it looks like he was cannonballed. Literally, I don't know. To a TV. I was about to say the same thing there, Anthony Steele. James Taylor, of course, has returned. The legendary Nemesis James Taylor, of course, the best Stone Cold Stunner in the business, and Stone Cold is retired. And obviously, Taylor's got that Stunner. But, you know, Saint and Forsaken, maybe they have an alliance to take out Black and maybe be the best man win to get that hardcore championship. And that TV is ruined. Obviously, that's Loose Cannon's early Christmas gift that he could have got, but he's not going to get that this year. And obviously, you know, that Big Bad Silver Wolf with the, you know, maybe Adonis Felios, the Drip King. These guys ain't going to be dripping anything after this match. They're only dripping blood. But it looks like a double suplex. And oh my God, did both guys hit barbed wire? You know, I don't know if that was timed the right way, but it looked like that they're the ones that took that plain shape form of pain. But Omen Black is definitely down and out, and he is seeing a world of stars, and you can only count. If I'm Matthew Forsaken, you got to cover a guy like Omen Black. Get on him. What are you waiting for, Matthew Forsaken? Why are you pushing the ref?
What the hell is he waiting for?
That shows you inexperience, especially a guy like him who comes all the way from Ohio. What are you doing going to the outside? You know, Forsaken, clearly inexperienced. I am not quite sure what Matthew Forsaken is thinking here in this match, ladies and gentlemen. If it's me and I'm in a match where I've got Omen Black, a man that's been down only a few times this year, and Anthony Steele is a man that has put down Omen Black, I'm not quite sure this is the right move, but he's going to try something to put him through a table. But I don't know if this is what I would have did, because I had him down and I would have had him. You would have had him here for this match. And it looks like Omen Black, though, he's sleeping. He is taking a nap. But you know what? I counted at least over 2.5 minutes, guys, that Omen Black was down, and Matthew Forsaken just wasting his time here.
He's wasting too much damn time, Tom.
This is almost like Craven Rage cutting a promo on Sportswire Radio. Maybe James. Maybe it's like James Marshall's shoot promo on Sportswire, waiting and waiting and waiting for that punchline. But you know, obviously we'll have to see. We love those guys. Maybe they'll come back on and soon, and they'll give us, you know, a reason why that they can certainly improve, and maybe they will, because WC is going to start coming up here next month. But until then, we are watching Matthew Forsaken, we are watching Omen Black, and we are watching Damian Saint in a Extreme Rules triple threat hardcore match for the IMF. And wait a minute. Is he putting it? You know what? You know what? It looks like here. That's the same move. Wait a minute. It speared him. He speared him. And Matthew Forsaken goes into it looks like barbed wire chair. And Damian Saint is pounding his chest. But you know what, Damian Saint? You got to cover him. You got to cover him. What are you doing mouthing off to the crowd? You got him. Omen Black has been down almost through the entire last 5 minutes. Gentlemen, you guys have been champions, world champions before. And, you know, Forsaken and Saint, they're just wasting way too much time on a veteran here. You know, if I'm looking at Omen Black and he's down a big man, you know, this match should have been over. You could have just counted to 1,000 and Omen Black would have still been down. And now Damian Saint is trying his luck at a table. I mean, I don't know if this is going to work. It's, certainly maybe, I don't know if he knows something that we don't know on this call, but it looks like here to me that Damian Saint's going to try his luck, and we'll see if he's got better luck upcoming than Matthew Forsaken. He throws, it looks like another garbage can. And I mean, how many shots has Omen Black gotten with a garbage can? I mean, certainly, maybe some would say it's, a Tyler Ark match in terms of garbage matches, but, certainly again, definitely, I would say Meltzer would give a Tyler Ark match kind of a garbage rating, maybe a -5, but, that's here nor there. But obviously, big shout out to Tyler Ark. Tyler Ark's got a big show coming up. Everybody can check out the Tyler Ark show on his YouTube channel. And Tyler Ark will talk about maybe his upcoming feud with maybe in an E-Fed with Omen Black. But that's here nor there. We continue this match as it goes on. Omen Black, I don't know how this man is standing still, but the boogeyman of the Midwest is going to try his best. He have a black eye. His eye is severely cut here in this match. And you have to wonder, will that play into fruition at the end of this match? And just Damian Saint, wait a minute, is Omen Black getting up? Is he kind of doing his own hulking up here a little bit? And I mean, it looks like it. I mean, he's doing a boogeyman Midwest Hulk up. I mean, certainly, since we know that the Hulkster is no longer around, it looks like the Omen Man, the boogeyman of the Midwest is doing. We got to go to a commercial break, so we're going to take that commercial right off here because clearly Craven Rage wanted to come in the show and say and interrupt, but we're going to let that move that away. And it looks like now Omen is doing. But wait a minute, is he going to DDT? DDT, got him, DDT. And Omen now is in a rage, just like a rage in the cage we saw in a prior show in the IMF. Unbelievable here on Sportswire Radio. Sportswire Radio, we give you your live streams, and you want to have your company stream on our platform. I guarantee you, get in touch with us, and we'll certainly give you the best play-by-plays in the business with the best and the brightest in this sport where all wrestling matters. And it looks like here, Matthew Forsaken, wait a minute, spear into the table. That's it. Omen Black has got to be done here. Omen Black, there's no way that Omen Black is getting them from this one here. He is going to be almost like Loose Cannon in a shoe promo with Anthony Steele about 9 months ago. There is no way that Omen Black can get up from this here. And it looks like here Matthew Forsaken kind of gives him, it looks like an Eddie Guerrero frog suplex. Nope, but he's going to go for a count here. I mean, it looks like he was going to maybe do it. I mean, you almost had him there. Almost had him. And Omen Black, I mean, you have to wonder here. These guys, if they don't win this match, Matthew Forsaken and Damian Saint, they're going to have their own selves and just not, wait a minute, are we getting something else here? Are we getting maybe a suplex onto the table possibly? Nope, he reverses it. Maybe his own suplex. Wait a minute, Omen Black is getting up here. He's getting up, and Matthew Forsaken is fighting that back. You have to wonder here, gentlemen, these guys gave Omen Black way too much time throughout this match. They have themselves to call. Wait a minute, kind of he reverses the neck breaker, and I don't know what that move was, but we're going to see some type of count 1, 2, and Omen Black, I mean, literally just in the nick of time. But Omen Black, I don't know how this man is he human, gentlemen? Is Omen Black human? Is he human? I don't know. I mean, somebody get back to me on that. Loose Cannon, let us know, obviously. Loose Cannon's out there. Big shout out to Loose Cannon. Obviously, Loose Cannon certainly wants a match with a number of different guys, but he should stick to GMing. And wait a minute, he goes to the table. Oh, my God. There's no way. 1, 2, 3. Ring it. Count it. Matthew Forsaken. You were mistaken permanently. I don't know what that was on. There was definitely through the table, but there was some type of object. I don't know if it was glass. Maybe it was a light tube. Man. Was it a light tube, guys? It looked like it. Look at Matthew Forsaken's back. Everybody talks about Mikey Anarchy, who was the GTS Intercontinental Champion, the UWF Champion, and who had connected dots with all his back. But you know what? Matthew Forsaken, you certainly can play a board game with your blood all over your back. And certainly we might want to play Connect the Dots, but we're only connecting the dots right now, gentlemen, with Omen Black as the first ever IMF Hardcore Champion. And gentlemen, what did you think of the match here? What was your reaction in seeing what we just saw here?
Violence. Nothing but a bunch of violent crap. That's what I call it because that's what it was. I was kidding. It was
Sounded like an old person. Sounded like
there
Jim Cornette there for a bit, huh, James Taylor?
There was too much laying around. There wasn't enough storytelling. But that's the thing about backyard wrestling today. I mean, very violent. Love the violence. Love the connections on it. Everything on that was good, almost on par. There was a few little botches you could see, but nothing too terribly bad at all. I'll give Omen credit what credit's due. Hardcore bastard. I'm almost curious to know, even from Anthony's point of view, because you've been in a hardcore type match with me. What do you think Omen would think of being in an old school wrestling hardcore match with the likes of me?
See, but that's the thing about it is, he nowadays he's actually getting into the hardcore stuff. He proved himself in that match that he could do it without his backup. Taking on Matthew Forsaken and
Damian Saint. An established independent wrestler and I were very respected wrestler.
I mean, obviously not established enough to be Omen Black, but
these guys, as we move on to closing thoughts in a few minutes, I think one of you said it correctly. It might have been James, but obviously the point here was that Forsaken and Saint took way too much time. They had Omen Black. I mean, he was as dead as a carcass for about 5 minutes in that match.
That's what I kept saying. The moment they kept giving him time to recuperate, he's just going to come back stronger and stronger and stronger. You saw he got put through a table at the end. They took too much time fighting amongst each other. And then what happens? He throws Slate out of the ring. Then he picks up Forsaken, puts him through that glass tube table. 1, 2, 3. Got the job done. They took too much time. They didn't.
Omen Black, I think for a 5-minute stretch in that match, he was down for about 4 of those minutes. The match was over. I mean, either one of those guys could have took turns, and the match was over. And they gave Omen Black way too much time in that match. Way too much time.
I'll like I said, with Omen Black, time is everything for him. He has time on his hands basically at this point. And that's one thing that I've learned about Omen Black, facing him and watching him, grow as a competitor, is if he doesn't have his lackeys at ringside helping him out, the moment you give him too much time, he's going to capitalize on every second of it, and he's going to make you regret giving him that time.
Well, he certainly did that for sure. And, I was watching James, his promo with Soldier about a year ago, right around this time, where he called out both of you guys, and he's grown, I think, leaps and bounds since that moment. Unlike some guys, like Loose Cannon, although we got Loose Cannon greatest hits, obviously, certainly look forward to. And, obviously, guys like the Big Bad Silver Wolf, who is certainly, maybe going to be on the main stage coming up at WrestleMania 40. Maybe they're going to be at the parking lot version of it. Obviously, other guys like Tyler Ark, who is certainly giving us an Ark-like version of their ring experience. But, obviously, that was certainly a match that I'm sure a lot of people will, hope to see maybe more of the future. We'll call, obviously, your match, fellas, certainly the second one coming up here. And I actually might have somebody that might want to say hello here shortly, that might want to give a reaction after what they just saw from us. And I'm going to do that here very quickly because it is, after all, Sportswire Radio, and we do kind of different things here. And we're going to do that here because, well, what else do we do on Sportswire? So obviously, before I do that, also Atomic Titan says hello to both of you guys. He says hello. He says hello.
He says hello to James. Let that be known.
Oh, okay. I was trying to be nice.
Hey, Titan, I miss you, kid.
Well, I actually do have breaking news real quick. Obviously, Anthony's going into the Hall of Fame on the 24th of March. But my other breaking news was actually going to be on March 14th. Atomic Titan's going into the Hall of Fame. So you guys might have all something in common. Titan's in the Hall of Fame. You're in the Hall of Fame. You're in the Hall of Fame. And Atomic Titan, it's going to be a great honor to have him back on Sportswire. And I'm looking forward to that. So stay tuned for more details. And that was my announcement that I remembered. And I'm looking forward to having on Mr. Titan, the TBW Hardcore Champion. But, I have somebody that wants to maybe give his thoughts on how we called the match. And that was obviously the man that was victorious. And that's none other than, well, what a surprise. Omen Black. It is his show. Omen, how are you? And what did you think about the match? What did you think about our call?
It was good, but I would just want to say something to one person. Hey, Atomic Titan, that's what true hardcore kings do.
So are you saying that Atomic Titan's not a true hardcore king then?
He can have fun playing with his Legos and his fake barbed wire and hell, even some stop signs or pans he got from his mom's house. But that match was true hardcore. Way better than anything that he's ever done.
So you're just basically discrediting anything about him and Jacob Young or the Grim Reaper Joe Anderson, those matches.
Who? I'm not doing an owl impression. Who?
Is it owl season, by the way, out there? I know we're like near the end of winter.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of owls out here.
Mr. Titan would like to say, remember I called out any man alive to show up to Rampage. And say it to my face, because you are all.
Hey, don't say any man. Don't say any man. Do not say any man. Because look,
I may have a broken arm right now, but I'm pretty confident I could still beat your ass in any hardcore match, Titan.
Okay, so how about let me ask you a different question, Omen. Seeing us on the call, right? What was your reactions in watching people that had called the match? Obviously, James and Anthony had not seen the match. I've seen the match, but I hadn't called it before. But I've seen the match on a couple of occasions. But what was that like for you to actually see somebody in real time talk about your match?
It was quite amusing because I could see like the generations of the different generations react differently. James being the older 1820s generation, he didn't really appreciate it. But as the younger generation, Anthony, he was enjoying every second of it. So
you want to know why I enjoyed it? Because now I can see that you can actually do something by yourself, which means it gets me to a question. And the simple question is, can you do it to me without the help of Soldier GP?
I have an answer and I have a question too. First, the question is, why is your haircut resembling a flock of seagulls? And
well, hey, that was GT. That was Grand Theft Auto though. Flock of seagulls before I ran. Remember playing Grand Theft Auto? That was always.
Oh yeah. And Anthony, don't get it twisted. Don't get yourself into something you most likely can't handle.
Hey, look. I'm gonna say this. My name's not Loose Cannon. My name's the real deal, Anthony Steele. Jay Taylor. You can have your time in a minute, James. But the men are talking. So look. My schedule's open. I mean, if you want to have a hardcore match with me, you know I'm way better at hardcore matches than Atomic Titan, and I don't even have to hold a hardcore title to fucking prove that. 2, I've already showed you what I'm capable of, and without your lackeys and a lot more fucking resources, dude, I can do a lot worse to you. Again, I'm not here for titles. I'm here to prove.
I hear this every time Anthony Steele wants to challenge someone. Pick any day, any time, any location.
Dude, my schedule is free. My schedule is free.
Listen, I hear this all the time. Every time you're trying to accept a challenge or challenge someone, you'll know where I'll be at in July.
You want it? You want it then? July 8th?
I thought it was 5th to the 7th.
Oh. Hey. I thought it was that. You want what day? 5th, 6th, or
7th? Any day that you want, sunshine. But listen, I'm giving you till July as a favor.
As a favor.
So count your blessings. Get all your bucket list shit done. Because if you really step in the ring with me in July at Summer Bash, I'm going to take some years off that career. I'm going to take some years off that life. I guarantee that.
Hey, let me say what you already said. I've heard that before. I've literally heard that before. James Taylor said it. Still going. Still fucking doing the same shit. Division
you can still be going, but you still have some years taken off from James Taylor.
Ain't nothing been taken off, homie. Ain't nothing been taken off. As it's been proven right now, James Taylor's the one sitting at home. I'm the one still out here doing active.
Well, right now you're sitting at home as well.
I mean, you're sitting at home. I'm sitting at home. Tom's sitting at home. James is at home. Look,
even last night, we were talking about how you got parked in your own show.
my craft since the last time I faced you both. I said my man, and I meant that. I am the king of hardcore wrestling with or without title. Titan. I know this is going to be some big boy words for you, and this is going to be the hardest thing you ever have to talk about. This is the hardest thing you'll ever have to talk about. Get TBW to unban me. I'm 3 hours away from you. 3 hours. I will make that drive to whoop your ass in your ring.
Titan, I actually have a counter offer. At night 1 of Summer Bash in July, Dirty Donnie's been talking about. He wants an Extreme Rules match of nothing but hardcore champions. So if your champion still around July, Titan, I dare you to enter that.
I mean, I am first world champion.
I think everybody's talked enough. How about this is my show, okay? I don't care if you're the boogeyman of the Midwest. I don't care if you're the real deal right now. Mr. Boogeyman, I almost would want to face you hardcore style more than I would want Soldier at this moment just because I'm tired of you running your mouth. You said you don't like the way that I reacted to your match. I love the match. There was a lot of points where if I was in that match, I would have pinned your ass a long time ago after that spear when you fell down. I would have done knocked your ass out 1, 2, 3. But he wasted at least 5 minutes getting a damn.
Oh my God! Between Forsaken and Saint, they wasted. I mean, it was almost like you could have counted to 1,000, Omen. I don't know what those guys, especially Saint, because Saint's a veteran. He's been in the game before. He's wrestled some of the biggest people in this sport. I still have no idea what those guys were thinking and waiting for.
See, that's the thing. These Indies guys want to challenge us yarders, but yet they want to undermine and underestimate what we can do. They already think they got the match won when they walk into the ring with one of us. But it's been proven it's not always the case. Unless you're Anthony Steele, and that's always the case. You're going to get your ass kicked every day.
You sure about that?
Well, I'm asking you a question, Owen. What did you think about Anthony? Well, what did you think about Anthony and James's match? That was a hardcore match. I mean, it was more. I liked it. It was more of a throwback. I would say it was like, how can I put it? Maybe like a Bruiser Brody type of hardcore match. Maybe not what we've seen you wrestle, but it was still, I would say, more of a throwback hardcore match. If that's a fair analysis.
Listen, you'll never hear me say I didn't like the match. I love the match, but James, don't get your old man trousers in a bunch. I didn't say I didn't like your commentating. I said it's funny you've seen the different generations react differently. You were talking about how you like the old hardcore. Anthony loves new hardcore. Hardcore is hardcore.
I like both. Dude, I'll sit here and watch a John Moxley match, or I'll watch a Mick Foley versus fucking Terry Funk. I don't care. But now that I actually have
a friend of mine, J.J. Escobar, he constantly uses weed whackers in his matches. Constantly.
Now, Tom, if you don't mind, can I address something?
You can say anything you want.
Now that I have people in here watching, that I can finally say this. As everyone knows, there's people that don't like me. There's people that do like me. There's companies that don't like me. There's companies that do love me and want to have me back or on their show for the first time. But it's the companies that don't like me. It's the companies that don't want me on their show. That they say, they want talent that brings, the fight. They want talent that brings something to their show. But it's the same companies that literally look at me and dog me, but see me prosper better than what I've done in their company. So, let's take TBW, for example. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. I drove 6.5 hours multiple times to do multiple tapings for you. I've put on some of the best matches y'all have seen. Dude, I made Russell Cooper look like $1 million fucking bucks. And that was the second match of all time. Then you got Resurrection Wrestling, who wants to shit on me because I got an attitude and because y'all don't like what I had to say. I understand that. Not everyone's going to see eye to eye with what someone has to say. It's 2023. People got their opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. But I'm going to say this. It baffles me. It really baffles me that I came to IMF one time, faced Jordan Nets and Omen Black the same day, Haven't heard 1 ounce of disrespect from either of them. 1 ounce.
And Triple W wants you, by the way. Triple W, they want to sign you.
But it's the moment that y'all see that I'm getting bigger than what y'all wanted, that y'all wanted me to, and bigger than what y'all are doing, and then y'all shit on me. Y'all shit on me. But here's the one thing that Tom Bryce has said, and multiple other people. Y'all can say I got a bad attitude. Cool. But y'all can't knock what I do in that ring. Y'all can't tear down everything I've accomplished and everything that I've done for every single one of y'all's companies. When I step in that ring, I'm Anthony Steele. I'm the dude that will walk in there, face any challenger on any day of the week. Win, lose, or draw, I will put on the best match y'all have ever seen come out of me. So I'm going to say this. To any company, whether that's Resurrection Wrestling, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, IMF, XCW, NGJPW,
Triple W.
Triple W, that's the place. You could build that company, though. You could legitimately build that company.
I don't want to build that company. Let's
Why
get it
not?
straight.
They would love to have you, though.
Of course they would. This is directed to TBW and Resurrection. I'm gonna be completely blunt. Completely blunt. Because now it's time for me to say one thing that, you know, a lot of the world's gonna want to know. Mostly to Resurrection. Y'all say y'all don't want drama. Y'all say you don't want beef. The moment someone tries to hash it out, y'all ain't about it. Y'all get me barred from an arena that I'm champion of. Y'all get me barred from a company for a night that I'm champion at because y'all don't want me around. Look, I'm gonna say this. Congratulations on what y'all's accomplished. Congratulations. Some of these companies I still support because y'all got good talent. Y'all really do. Some of y'all's companies have good talent in them that I can still say to this day I can see prosper and do what I'm doing, going on the indie scene, traveling, making money for it, doing what they need to fucking do, and get bigger and better opportunities than what they have. Because the one thing I've learned about the wrestling industry, never be content at where you're at, because the biggest change is going to turn your life around. Change is everything. Wrestling changes day by day, week by week, year after fucking year. So I'll say this on Sportswire Radio. TBW, I ain't got no beef with y'all. What happened, happened. The shit's in the past. Resurrection. Y'all got beef with me? Cool. Do what you got to do. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Y'all doing y'all thing, I'm doing mine. If y'all ever want Anthony Steele on your show, hit me up. If you don't, that's perfectly fucking fine.
Are you saying you would want to go back to TBW?
To face some people that I didn't get to face? Fuck yeah.
Do you feel you have unfinished business in TBW?
Fuck yeah. I've unfinished. Here, I'll say this. I have more unfinished business than Resurrection Wrestling.
What about XCW? You were the New Age champion there. You were starting
I definitely got fucking shit to prove there. I went out undefeated on the main show. Every pay-per-view, every show. I didn't lose. I left with the New Age Championship. I got released as the New Age champion. There's multiple things. I'm it's just tiring, dude. I'm 23 years old. I ain't got time for kitty ass drama. I ain't got time to listen to people moan and groan about me, what I did in the past. People change. Like Atomic Titan said in the comments. He's changed and he's made better of his craft, right? Anthony Steele has changed, made better of his craft. He's done better than what y'all are used to seeing. Those matches that y'all are watching of me, I'm better now than I was then. Because improvement is key. And
do you feel that you would bring in new viewers to those companies? Let's 100%. Say XCW as an example. You have unfinished business with a company that, you know, maybe doesn't have the amount of viewers that TBW has. Do you feel that that's something that, you know, you have an opinion on?
100%. And but the way I look at it is, I know no one's going to take this into consideration. No one's going to actually think about it and be like, hey, no.
He definitely has unfinished business in IMF. I'll just say that.
I have unfinished business.
And
IMF.
Triple W, they're ready to roll out the red carpet
my
for you,
God.
Triple W.
Look, I'm gonna be
Limousine.
completely.
They'll fly you out.
Look, I'm gonna say this. Do I have unfinished business in IMF? Yes. I want a true one-on-one match with Omen Black. No goons, no lackeys, no friends, no girlfriends, no parents, no brothers and sisters, no nothing. I want a true one-on-one with Omen Black, the way it should have been. I really do.
A lot of people would want to see you in Omen Black. A lot of people might want to see you run it back with James. You know, a lot of people would like to see you with some different names. I'll even throw it out there because my buddy Big Tex is here. I'd love to see you in places against guys like Chase Wakefield, guys like the Blaze Ace Christian. You know, this guy, Mr. Judgment in DBW. You know, there's a lot of places I would love to see you in VTW, Navon McDonald. You know, there's a lot of people out there in a lot of different feds as the numbers start to perk up. I mean, I would love to see you go out there. You know, Aaron Blaze, maybe you and him again. I don't know. I mean,
I've never faced Aaron Blaze for one.
But the point is, Aaron Blaze and you and him have things in common. You know,
you both got kicked out of XCW.
Shut up, Omen.
Hey! I got kicked out because I couldn't make one show. That's why I got kicked out.
Do you feel you're misunderstood?
Do I feel like I'm misunderstood? Yeah. 100%.
Why do you think that? Is it because of age?
No, I think it's because, again, it's 2024, man. Now,
right?
It's 2024. A lot of people don't like open honesty. People don't want.
You've always spoke your mind on sports. But listen, I've always said it that in the ring, you've always been one of the best. Sometimes you can take it or leave it, what you said. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. But as I said when I inducted James, that James wouldn't have probably been in the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for your matches with him. You know, simple as that.
Hey,
those matches have to be recognized.
I'll say this, James, and I mean no disrespect when I say this. I'm being dead ass, heart to heart. I gave you an opportunity to come back. You said you were looking for the opportunity. I gave you that opportunity. When I hit you up about TBW, I gave you the key to get the fuck out and be back into the wrestling business. My whole thing about wrestling is one thing. If you love it, if you want to do it, and I have the fucking keys to fucking put you out there or get you in a position to do what you want to do, I'm going to do it for any person imaginable. Because I love wrestling so fucking much. This is my life. I've dedicated my entire fucking life to wrestling. This is my dream. This is my passion. And I'm going to bust my ass until I physically cannot fucking do it no more. My life means nothing without wrestling. And some people are going to say that's sad. Some people's going to be like, hell yeah. I want to be like The Undertaker. I want to be like Sting. I want to wrestle till I'm 40, 50, 60, 70 years fucking old. Like I want to have this historic career, this legacy that I can leave behind that say, hey, you know, I started from nothing. I had so many people that didn't believe in me. And then it all ended with me proving every single person that Anthony Steele did the one thing he said he was going to do. And that is prove every person wrong. And that Anthony Steele can be one of the most dominant, one of the most loved and hated professional wrestlers in the entire fucking world.
Hey, but I'm going to head out.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get going here in a few minutes. Omen, I hope you feel better. We'll definitely see you, I'm sure, on Thursday. And we look forward to your match and encounters. And I'm glad that you came by and enjoyed this. And we'll see you soon.
Before I go.
Yes.
James, you have unfinished business in IMF. Or business you need to start with Soulja. Anthony, when I get healed up fully, Summer Bash. Omen Black, Anthony Steele, Extreme Rules. And we'll leave it all behind at Summer Bash.
I don't want Extreme Rules. You're getting into hardcore. And I know a lot of people say this, you know, match type and just throw it around and don't deliver. But I know me and you can. Get healed at Summer Bash in July. Death match. Death match.
All right.
We'll ponder that. We'll talk with Omen soon. Get well. All right. So on that note, let's sign off and say sayonara for the evening. James Taylor, I turn it over to you because this was your show, technically for the night. we're going to see both of you guys next week, and this time call the second match at a company that Mr. Steele had referenced, Resurrection Wrestling. We're going to call that match there. And obviously, we've covered Resurrection, so we look forward to doing that. So, James, for the fellow operatives out there that have stayed up and obviously have been as loyal as they've ever been to you, I give you the floor, give you some closing thoughts, and fire away.
You sure you want me to?
You're James Taylor. You're a living legend. You're a Hall of Famer. 2023 Personality of the Year. Of course I want you to speak. Who else do I want? Loose Cannon?
I hope not. So, like a couple of nights ago, I was on Instagram, and this is going to be about 4 or 5 minutes. I hope that's all right.
Absolutely. You're James Taylor. I'll give you 40.
The other night on Instagram, I had a venting, so to speak, after I seen ADT and the AWL bastards decide to speak what they wanted to say about somebody of my caliber and my veteran like ways. And I'll go on and I'll paraphrase basically everything that Anthony was saying. And I'm where he's kind of wanting to be, and I want to continue forth as well. I'm going to turn 40 in 2 months. I will be 40 years old, and I'm
April 25th. We're celebrating that here on Sportzwire with the big 4-0.
I have a little bit of legacy, and whether people like me or hate me, I really don't give two shits about it. But one thing I can damn sure know, or that everybody knows, is that I do get respected by a lot of people, no matter what. And I'm very passionate about this business. I love this business. This business has pulled me out of some really, really dark mindscapes that I've been in. I've come from a single family. I came from a single mother who raised me to respect women and respect life, period, the way it is, to take care of my two sisters like I did, to treat my wife and take care of her the way that I do now today. And my wrestling was my escape from the real world. When I'd have my troubles at school, when I'd have my troubles in the real world, when I had my troubles at work, whatever it was, wrestling was my scapegoat. You get these people who have these problems and they do their things. Everybody has their way of expressing their feelings. Mine was wrestling. Mine was getting onto the ground, getting slammed, slamming somebody down, or vice versa, whatever it was, and doing it. Anthony, I said a while back, and I said it a little earlier tonight, he's one of the main reasons I got back into this business, got back into the wrestling world. I was tired, but I was always watching. I joined the promo world. And I was just having fun doing the 2K thing. He brought me out of the retirement to get back into it. But not only that, I said he was one of the main reasons. The other main reason, I said this on my live the other night. For some reason it didn't save, so I'm going to say it right here where everybody in the world can. My mother was a big fan of wrestling. It was the only person in my entire life that supported me as far as like when I started on a trampoline. The ground and wrestling. She wanted me to be safe, but she knew how much I loved it, and she loved watching me wrestle. So a year to the day, I came back into backyard wrestling in 2021. My mother passed away October 30th, 2020, and she was 56 years old. I dedicated every single match I've ever had since then to myself, to her, and I will always do that till the day I die. And for any young punk, this is why I was so hot about it earlier. Young bastard that's sitting there and they look at me as I'm just a stone cold knockoff. It's been 7 million times. My mother loved all. I love Stone Cold, of course, but she loves seeing me do that stuff. Go out there and give somebody a stunner. Can you do it like Austin? Sure, I'll do it. And I made a point to do it because it's that great. My mom loved watching me wrestle. And when you get a guy who comes in who's 22, says he's unstoppable, or people in that company who like to say, you know what, James, you should be ashamed of yourself being almost 40 years old wrestling. Let us guys take care of it. Blah, blah, blah this, blah, blah, blah that. You suck, you're garbage, whatever. I've got to show up. I got a life. I got things I've got to do. But nobody's more passionate, eats, sleeps, or breathes this damn business more than me. And it's not a catchphrase. It's not a promo. It's real life. It's real feeling. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, I don't know what the hell you're even doing here watching. Because I am everything that I say that I am. I back up every word I say. You can look at guys like Anthony Steele. You can look at guys like Jay Wild. You can look at guys like anybody like them who stepped into the ring with me in today's landscape and know that I love this business and can't nobody stop me. Period. Now, I'm sorry, Tom.
No, you're
I just
James
wanted to let
Taylor.
that
Go
out
for
and
it.
let you
Go
know.
for it. Go for it.
I wanted to let you and the world know that nobody's going to take this from me. And I will continue on doing this for another 20, 30 years if I fucking want to. And if anybody decides that I'm full of shit, like I said the other night, don't hide behind a fucking camera. Either look at me face to face or call me up to your place and look me in the eyes and tell me that I don't belong in this business, because I'll damn sure make a believable person out of you. And just like I always say, that's because there can't be no other fucking way. Thank you.
James, I'm gonna go off of you. What a lot of people don't know, what some people do. Thanksgiving 2022. My dad passed away.
I'm sorry.
Thanksgiving 2022, and I was living in Memphis when he got sick, and I got that call from my mom and my brother telling me, your dad's not doing well. We don't know how long he's gonna have. And it just, I looked at my girl. I looked at Resurrection. Here, let's bring up some shit. I looked at Resurrection, and they saw it. They saw it. That man meant the world to me. My dad is your mom, James. My dad is your mom, because that man told me through everything that he saw that I was a troubled teen. He saw that I was doing my own thing. I was him at my age, and he wanted me to not end up like him. And he knew that wrestling was my escape. That's why when I'm inside in those ropes, yeah, I'm Anthony Steele, but I'm Anthony Holloway at the same time. Anthony Steele is Anthony Holloway. I live, breathe, eat, sleep. I bleed wrestling. That man, before he passed away, looked at me dead to my face, and he said, if there's one thing I want you to know that I need you to do, is whether I'm here or if I'm gone, that you do exactly what you set out to do, and that is make it in the art of professional wrestling. And so ever since then, I've busted my ass. I've busted my ass to get to where the fuck I am, to prove to him that I wasn't a failure, that I wasn't going to let everything that happened before then set what my tempo was going to be for the remaining future of my life. See, people nowadays, they take wrestling as a joke. They think, oh, it's just a group of guys, a group of buddies that want to get together and they want to have fun. They want to wrestle. They want to do what they see on television. For me, it's not the same. For James, it's not the same. And I'm not trying to speak for him, but that's the one thing that me and him have in common the most. It's not a game to us. It's life. When you step into that square circle, there's one thing that you need to know, is that there's men before you that have put thousands upon thousands of hours into this sport. Training, breaking bones, concussions, bleeding for people like us to do this. And for people to look at guys like James, for people to look at guys like me and be like, oh, you're not going to make it. You should give up. This ain't for you. My number one thing is, how can you tell me what's for me? How can you determine my destiny? See, because that's a lot of what I see nowadays. Y'all let people determine your destiny, your life, your direction. There's only two directions that it can go: the right way or the wrong way. And your decisions make that road a lot easier and a lot clearer to not only yourself, but everyone else. Do I have a bad attitude? Sometimes. But do I know that once I step into that building, once I step in front of that crowd, that it's game on. It's game time, man. Because as my dad's watching from up above, bro, I promise you, you really think I'm going to let him down? You think I'm going to let that man see me weak and vulnerable? People need to understand that in this day and age, wrestling has evolved so much. I give James a lot of shit about his old school tactics, his old school way of wrestling. And I see as the days go by how he's inheriting the new school with it. And that's the one thing James loved about me is not only did I inherit new school, I inherited old school with it. Because at that point, you need both. You need knowledge of both. You need to take in both sides. That's how you make it in this industry. And shitting on everyone else to get to the top, I'm going to tell you this. The only place that's going to lead you is to the bottom. You're going to watch those people that you tear down rise. And you're going to see yourself sink. And that's going to suck. And you're going to think, how can I make them as miserable as me? So you lower yourself to lower them. But what you don't understand is you're just lowering yourself. That's it. That's the ending for your story. Is you end your story while creating a bigger story for them. That's what I take in from every person that's hated on me, from every person that's tried to belittle me, make sure that I don't succeed in this fucking industry, is y'all are making me move up the totem pole because y'all are driving me to do this. Y'all are driving James to do this. I don't care. I give James shit for being a Stone Cold knockoff. Hell yeah, he does a stunner. He does a dash press. He does a spine buster like fucking Triple H. Oh, well, I do the Claymore. Y'all gonna call me Drew McIntyre? I do the F5. You gonna call me Brock Lesnar? See, at this point, what a lot of people don't understand, who did the RKO first?
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yep. DDP. You know what? Randy Orton told a story, man. Told a very valuable story. DDP was done with his career. He didn't know what he had left to do. And Randy Orton came up. He said he needed a finisher. And Diamond Dallas Page told him, you can do the cutter, but make it your own. Make my move proud, but make it your own. And guess what? It's still referenced as the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. RKO. James Taylor, yeah, he does the stunner. But I'm going to tell you this. I've seen a lot of people in the backyard do the stunner. Homie, what are y'all doing? You're folding yourself more than you're folding your opponent. I've seen a lot of people try to do the Claymore. Homie, half of y'all can't even get your fucking leg off the goddamn ground to even do a Claymore. Time. Time is key. Time is important. If you take the time to master the art of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, you will succeed. But if you don't take the time, if you don't take the passion that you so desperately say that you have, and you don't apply it to your craft, no one's going to see it. A wise man that a lot of people hate, but a lot of people love. Scott Steiner told me 2 things. In this industry, there's going to be people that's going to hate you. There's going to be people that love you. But in order to establish yourself, you need 2 factors. You need to know what attire you are. Wear what's comfortable for you. Because once you step in that ring and you wear something that you don't feel comfortable in, it's going to show. And people are going to see that. And number 2, the character that you so desperately need to portray, you don't need to portray a character, you need to portray yourself. Because who can be you other than you? See, anyone can be The Undertaker. Anyone can portray John Cena. Anyone can portray Roman Reigns. There's been multiple people that try to recreate something that's already created. Be original. Originality is what gets views.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Steele is the real deal. That's why James Taylor is the nemesis and the Tyrant King. And you'll be seeing these guys back on Sportswire Radio next Sunday. And that's why you're also going to see Anthony Steele in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame on March the 24th. And also, you're going to see the Atomic Titan in the Hall of Fame on March the 14th. So we have a lot to talk about here in the future. Obviously, I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. D'Angelo LaFlame, I definitely look forward to having you back on as well. Thank you for your great work. We look forward to continuing all wrestling that matters. And gentlemen, this was a lot of fun. I don't have much of a voice left, so I'm going to sign off for the evening, and we'll see everybody next Sunday. And until then, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling. What a day it was on Sportswire Radio. We had, of course, the legendary Anthony Steele and James Taylor. We had Omen Black not once but twice. And to be inducted into our Hall of Fame as our first woman, we had on Trinity Parker, XTW ring announcer, and we also had Justin Parsley with a cameo, one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions, and is the first real wrestler in the Hall of Fame. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global relation that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling